It's Wednesday, November 12th. Today, remembering its past, how a Manitoba town is keeping its history of military service alive. Hey, high-stakes meeting, what's on the agenda and what's missing as G7 foreign ministers meet in Niagara on the Lake. Flu season is here, why health experts are warning it could be a bad year. Your Morning Winnipeg starts right now. Good morning, Manitoba. Happy Wednesday to you. It's going to be a great day. We have Ainsley McPhail officially on the Christmas mode right now. We are going to the brightest Christmas art show, and it's going to showcase a lot of different artists and really unique pieces. If you're looking for gift ideas, you want to get a head start on that, your list for the holiday season. She's going to have some tips for us. But yesterday, walked out on my deck about 6:45. I got my own gift.
It was beautiful.
Show out in the sky. Wow.
That was Mother Nature's birthday gift to you. Welcome back, by the way.
Thank you.
Yeah, it was so gorgeous yesterday, wasn't it? And more of the same expected today and through the rest of the week. So we're starting out right now at -1. I mentioned yesterday that is now a normal daytime high. So temperatures right now, they're doing okay. The winds, you'll notice them just a little bit out of the west-northwest, 21 kilometers per hour. The pressure is rising and the humidity is sitting at 87%, but it's very clear out there this morning. Here's a look at the satellite image and you'll see what I'm talking about all through southern Manitoba and right up along that western border, just a bit of extra clouds through the far north and northeastern Manitoba and into parts of northwestern Ontario. So along with those clouds, once again, a little bit of that scattered precipitation, mostly moving east of the border now, but a little bit lingering through parts of the north. Nothing but sunshine expected here in the south. With the mercury on the rise, it's going to be a beautiful day today and a beautiful week, in fact, with the temperatures only continuing to ramp up. We're already looking to be well above normal. I mentioned that -1 being a seasonal daytime high, but instead will be a fistful of degrees above the freezing mark. All the while, by the end of the week, when we could be hitting double digits here in the south, it's going to look totally different across northern Manitoba, with precipitation moving in, starting as flurries, but even northern Manitoba is going to get a bit of a warm up, and you might see a bit of a rain-snow mix with that precipitation moving through. No sign of precipitation here in the south, just these warming temperatures until the weekend. That's when it starts to cool down a little bit, and then things remaining a lot closer to seasonal once we look further into next week.
Thank you, Terry. You can see ads for all kinds of things on city streets. The small Westman community of Minnedosa is advertising something a little different this Remembrance Day. It's past. CTV's Joseph Bernacki shows us what's on display.
These people were all from our community, and they gave so that we could have freedom.
As Minnedosa resident Gwen Usick looks up at her father's banner amongst dozens in the town, she's proud to know his military service and others will be on display for years to come.
It's a sense of pride, you know, pride for the community, the service that he gave. And it lives on in all of us.
Usick's father, 4 uncles, and a second cousin are just 6 of 143 veterans displayed via banners spread out in the community of a little more than 2,700 residents. 73 double-sided banners have been raised honoring veterans from Minnedosa and the surrounding area.
Being a small town, of course, the word got around and it just mushroomed after that.
The first 50 banners were hung in 2019 and the project quickly grew. Dennis Pearson reached out to the Legion to honor the 2 generations that came before him.
We didn't go because we wanted to, we went because we had to.
The area and the town, the families have a lot of pride in what our parents and grandparents did.
And that's not the only way Minnedosa is honoring the past. Over the last 5 years, the town has draped a poppy blanket onto the cenotaph. Lorna Hislop says it was a dream to make it after inspiration from one in England. In 2020, she reached out to a team of volunteers, including Usick, to help her knit 4,600 crocheted poppies.
I had people as far as Nova Scotia contacting me and saying, we've seen your poppy blanket and we absolutely love it.
It was very near and dear to my heart to be able to see something like that come to life.
A visible sign of the pride this community feels very deeply. Joseph Bernacki, CTV News, Minnedosa.
The banners may get some extra company. The Minnedosa Legion plans to add the faces of more veterans on banners in the future. The park in Wolseley, named for a famous First World War battle in which Canadian troops played a pivotal role, hosted its annual commemoration Tuesday. Hundreds of people turned out for the Royal Winnipeg Rifles annual Remembrance Day ceremony at Vimy Ridge Memorial Park. The event dates back more than 40 years and honors not only members of the Rifles, but fallen members from all regiments.
Attention. Present arms.
And the Navy's role in wartime was marked at HMCS Chippewa. Winnipeg's land-based naval reserve recruited the third most naval personnel in Canada, despite being the furthest inland. To this day, HMCS Chippewa is still one of the largest naval reserve divisions in Canada. As toxic drugs continue to claim lives across the country, a group of moms is fighting back. They've launched a new Canada-wide support network. A new national support phone line is now live and taking calls. It's being run by Moms Stop the Harm, a group made up of families who have lived through substance use-related harm and death. Officials with the group say there have been more than 52,000 opioid toxicity deaths in the past 5 years and an average of 20 deaths per day in 2024 alone. The service is staffed by trained peers who offer a non-judgmental space to talk and can connect callers to local resources. For more information about the service, you can check out momstoptheharm.com. A high-stakes meeting is happening today at the G7 Foreign Minister Summit at Niagara-on-the-Lake. Foreign Affairs Minister Anita Anand will meet with U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio. Today's one-on-one meeting comes after trade talks between Canada and the U.S. were suspended by U.S. President Donald Trump. The U.S. trade war is not officially on the agenda during the summit, but Canada has invited countries outside of the G7 to the summit in an effort to find more trade partners.
Meeting global challenges requires global partnerships. The issues we are facing transcend the G7 and our borders.
As the two-day summit wraps today, Ukraine will be a main topic of discussion. Ministers will also take a look at the ceasefire between Israel and Hamas. Other issues on the agenda include energy, critical minerals development, and maritime security. Officials in Turkey have confirmed at least 20 soldiers have died in a transport plane crash. Inspectors have now arrived at the crash site, which is in Georgia, near its border with Azerbaijan. The plane was on its way back to Turkey from Azerbaijan when it crashed. Reports from Turkey say contact with the plane was lost a few minutes after it entered Georgia's airspace. Reports also say there was no distress call before the plane went down. The cargo plane involved is a Lockheed C-130 Hercules, a widely used military transport plane. The longest government shutdown in U.S. history could come to an end today. House lawmakers are set to vote on a short-term government funding bill that was passed in the Senate on Monday. House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries says he expects House Democrats to oppose the bill after not receiving the health insurance subsidies they had demanded. Jeffries unveiled a proposed amendment calling for a 3-year extension of Obamacare subsidies. If the bill doesn't make through this final hurdle, things will still take time to get back up and running. The government has been shut down for 42 days. The Winnipeg Jets continued their West Coast stretch in Vancouver Tuesday, hoping to break a 3-game losing skid, taking on the Canucks.
Now he'll head back as Quinn Hughes under some pressure. Taken away, good work by Nemesnikov. Morrissey passes up, but they score!
Jonathan Taves gets the Jets on the board with about 15 minutes left in the first, taking a pass from Josh Morrissey. Later in the game, Morrissey notches a goal and another assist. Nino Niederreiter, Gabriel Velarde, and Alex Ayafayo also scored for the Jets. Those 5 goals powered the Jets past the Canucks by a score of 5-3. Connor Hellebuck stopped 30 of 33 shots for the win. The West Coast swing for Winnipeg continues in Seattle Thursday. Puck drop is at 9 p.m. Here's what's going on in traffic along Portage at Polo Park. Looks like things are starting off really well to start off this drive on this Wednesday morning. If you see any issues out on the streets, please let us know. Let's go now to Ainsley McPhail, who is telling us about this really cool market where you could get some art for the holidays. Good morning.
Good morning, Michelle. We're live at the Warehouse Artworks. This is the largest show they've had in 46 years. We're talking 22 different artists, 86 works of art, and take a look at some of the pieces that we're going to be diving into this morning, interviewing 5 different local artists. So if you have any questions about what you're going to be getting someone this holiday season, well, they might be answered this morning. These are the Northern Lights I was joking that we're going to be getting this morning from inside the city if you were lucky enough to get them last night. We're in the Exchange. It's all local. We're even going to be getting a demonstration this morning with various pieces. Some of them are abstract, and some of them, I will admit, I have in my own home. Tree's joining us at 6:44, and her pieces are spectacular. I was like, Tree, I've commissioned 2 of these pieces, and 4 of them are in my kitchen. So I'll have to show you my design style, Rochelle.
Oh, I can't wait to see more. Thank you, Ainsley. Let's go to the rooftop now. How's it feeling there? Any more northern lights, Terry?
I can't see any from here. I also tried to see them last night. I couldn't, I'm right in the downtown area in the thick of the lights, but I was getting photos sent in from people within city limits.
Me too. I saw them.
Lights. You mentioned you saw them early too, right?
6:45-ish. When I stepped out on my deck, it was really, you could see them. They were very faint, but when you look through your phone, it really popped up.
Incredible. And one of the benefits, I suppose, to the sun setting as early as it does is that, yes, for those of us that never used to be able to stay up late enough to see the northern lights, I mean, again, not that I did, but you didn't have to stay up very late. The sun is setting these days before 5 p.m. and I think 4:49 this evening. And it's not going to be rising till about 7:36, I think, this morning. So still waiting for it to come up. It's clear, though, and that made for those gorgeous viewing conditions last night. Right now, it's -3. Winds 14 clicks out of the west-northwest with the pressure rising and the humidity sitting at 90%. These clear conditions will set us up for plenty of sunshine once again today. It's going to be a gorgeous day. Winds moderate, temperatures soaring well above seasonal. I mean, we're just barely below a normal daytime high, but nowhere near a normal low of -9. And then pushing up into the plus digits later on today, could be getting as high as 6 degrees. Although yesterday we surpassed that. I think yesterday we topped out at about 8 degrees. Talk about beautiful and balmy. And we'll do even better than that by the end of the week with those double digits still expected. A fair bit of sunshine up until Friday, a few extra clouds to wrap up the week. We're not wrapping up, we're just taking a quick break, but we'll be back with Your Morning Winnipeg.
Weather brought to you by Blinds Are Beautiful, helping your home get holiday ready with blinds from Hunter Douglas.
We all know just how cold Manitoba winters can be. Imagine not having a winter coat, boots, a toque, or mitts, and stepping out into the cold. That's the reality for many kids. But you can change that. Give the gift of warmth. Donate to Coats for Kids.
Good morning. The City of Winnipeg is planning to make some extensive modifications to its building security. The city intends to spend just over $261,000 to enhance security at City Hall. A new request for proposals indicates a plan to rip out the existing reception, security desks, and gates. In its place, new glass partitions and doors, along with structural modifications to the building. The city says the winning contractor will have to minimize disruption to council and committee meetings, which could mean completing some phases of the projects on evenings and weekends. It could be a rough flu season across the country this year.
The specific strain we're worried about this year is called H3N2. It tends to have more severe seasons.
One strain on the rise this season is H3N2. It tends to hit babies, seniors, and people who are immunocompromised the hardest. But everyone can obviously become infected. Adding to the challenge is that this season's flu shot is not a perfect match for that strain. Public health officials say it's still too soon to make predictions about this flu season. Experts are reminding people it's still a good idea to get the flu shot. The West End community gathered Tuesday to listen and learn about 3 young men affectionately known as the Pine Street Boys, whose bravery and sacrifice in the First World War prompted the renaming of their street to Valor Road. CTV's Daniel Homerson reports.
Believed to be the only street in the world to have 3 Victoria Cross winners that lived there.
It's been a century since Pine Street in the city's West End was renamed to Valor Road, and every November 11th, the community gathers here to remember and reflect. Valor Road is an homage to the service and sacrifice of 3 First World War heroes: Sergeant Major Frederick William Hall, Lieutenant Robert Shankland, and Corporal Leo Clark.
I truly really learned what it was and about Leo Clark, I'd say around like age 6, but it's always kind of been a thing I went to. It's always kind of been around.
On Tuesday, people of all ages with poppies pinned to their chest learned how the Pine Street Boys are ingrained in Canadian and Winnipeg history. All three lived on the same block of the street, and all three received the Victoria Cross, the Commonwealth's highest military honor, for their courageous acts during the Great War.
There's a sense of pride. I live in the neighborhood as well, so it's it has a place in my life, and I drive down Valor Road every day.
The Remembrance Day service here honors the Pine Street Boys and the generations of brave Canadians who have served in uniform.
I think of my comrades that been through a lot, especially the people that served in Afghanistan.
Our role in today's world and what we do and the sacrifices many made before us.
Daniel Almerson, CTV News, Winnipeg.
Manitobans marked Remembrance Day Tuesday with moments of silence, stories of the fallen, and reminders that freedom doesn't come for free. The largest service was at RBC Convention Centre. It included the ceremonial laying of wreaths, an honor song, the playing of the last post, and a moment of silence. There was also a reading of the poem In Flanders Fields during a passing of the torch ceremony. Speakers noted Remembrance Day 2025 marks 80 years since the end of the Second World War, the victory in Europe over Japan, and the conclusion of the Battle of the Atlantic.
Humility. These milestones serve as a powerful reminder of the extraordinary contributions made by Canadian forces in ending global conflict and restoring peace.
Tuesday also marked the 85th anniversary of the Battle of Britain and 107 years since the end of the First World War. November 11th is also Veterans Day in the U.S. It was marked with a solemn tribute. U.S. President Donald Trump laid a wreath at Arlington National Cemetery and thanked the troops and veterans for their service. Cheerleaders from across the country are packing their pom-poms and heading to Winnipeg for this weekend's Grey Cup. You might even recognize a few faces from decades past. 5, 6, 7, 8. Starting Thursday, you'll be able to meet former CFL cheerleaders at Grey Cup Festival events. The Canadian Football Cheerleaders Alumni Organization says 75 of their members will be putting on shows and making appearances throughout the week. Performers range in age from their late 30s to late 80s. The gathering is giving these women a chance to reignite with other alumni and reflect on how cheering has changed.
I don't know if they do as much cheers now like we did way back when. But we did a lot of dancing too, but no stunting at that time. Not when I was.
Yeah, we started stunting back then, but yeah, it has changed a lot. Yeah. But there's a lot of things that are still the same too.
The organization says it has roughly 500 members. A full list of their appearances can be found on its website. Some road closures to remind you about this morning. The westbound curb lane is closed on Higgins between Waterfront and Argyle. Following the morning rush, expect lane closures on Leela from Garden Parks to McPhillips. And the westbound curb lane will be closed on Notre Dame between Flint and Winnipeg Avenue. If you have any other traffic tips to share, please text them to us at 10400.
Traffic is brought to you by Mr. Lube Plus Tires. Open late, ready when you are.
Beautiful and clear as we're looking now through the Bathfitter Live Eye. Bathfitter, your bath and shower experts for more than 40 years. Once again, the camera is shaking. There's a bit of a breeze out there this morning, but the conditions and the temperatures, very, very nice. Clear and mild. We're sitting just below the freezing mark right now. And right up into northern Manitoba, things are looking pretty good as well. As far as the conditions go throughout the day today, it's actually going to stay quite beautiful. Clear here across southern Manitoba and right up into the northwest. As far as northern Manitoba goes, there will be a few extra clouds, a little bit of scattered precipitation, and a little bit more moving into parts of northwestern Ontario today. So expect to be seeing a few flakes of snow, especially further to the east of us. All through central and southern Manitoba, though, sunglasses, that's all you're going to need. Well, and maybe an extra layer. I'm saying it's above seasonal, but still, above seasonal will still only take us to about 6 degrees with a bit of a breeze and -3 temperatures this morning. You're going to want that extra layer on just for now. And then even later on today, it will be beautiful and bright, but northern Manitoba is still going to be looking at those heavier clouds through the rest of the week. And more than clouds, northern Manitoba is also going to be in for another round of precipitation. Mild enough that it could be a bit of a rain-snow mix by the end of the week, but still, heavier clouds will likely linger across the north. Meanwhile, here in the south, a fair bit of sunshine, a few extra clouds by the end of the week. That's when we're expecting those double digits, only for a day before the temperatures start to slide. Most of next week, we're going to see a return to the seasonal temperatures. I talked about the northern lights. What an incredible shot taken out at Lone Country Ranch, Country Ranch, pardon me. Thanks to Sarah for this. And keep the pictures coming, please, to Winnipeg Weather, CTV.ca. We're taking a break, but we'll be back with your Morning Winnipeg.
Magical sights and sounds are coming to downtown Winnipeg. It's time for the Manitoba Hydro Santa Claus Parade. Stream it live November 15th at 5 p.m. on ctvwinnipeg.ca. Brought to you by Manitoba Hydro.
Halton, Ontario police have introduced a new way to handle non-emergency calls. It involves using AI to help direct people without tying up operators' valuable time. CTV's Rahim Lathani explains.
This is the non-emergency police line. How can I help?
This is Sarah, Smart Answering Routing Assistant, an artificial intelligence system which the Halton Regional Police Service is now using to answer non-emergency calls instead of real people.
It just means that our response to a 911 call will be much quicker.
Halton police say their real communicators currently answer around 160,000 non-emergency calls every year.
For the next step in a noise complaint.
And that's slowing down the time 911 operators could be spending helping people whose lives are at risk. When someone calls Sarah, their call will be transferred to a communicator if the situation evolves into an emergency. The system doesn't understand the caller. The caller doesn't speak English and requires translation services. Unusual activity or discrepancies are detected, or if the AI system determines it can address callers' needs.
Does not take or handle emergency 911 calls. Those are always going to be a human operator. What Sarah does is listens to the first portion of a call and decides if that's something that the AI system can handle on their own.
The AI platform has already partnered with Peel Regional Police, Winnipeg Police Service, and the San Diego County Sheriff. Developed by the company Hyper, it touts the ability to be conversational and empathize with the caller.
We've all had that terrible experience of kind of waiting on hold with a bank or an airline, having to kind of repeat ourselves 3 or 4 different times. What we've built here is leveraging the very latest in AI, so it can be fully conversational. So it can sound like you're talking to humans.
Cybersecurity experts say AI continues to get stronger. However, there are still potential gaps when it comes to leveraging technology for public safety.
Is it going to be able to be right 100% of the times? We hear about false positives, false negatives all the time with this type of technology. Look, the tech is only getting better. We're starting to see less of that.
Is there anything else I can assist you with today?
Another tool to help improve response times and keep lines clear for real emergencies. Rahim Ladani, CTV News.
2 men in Penhold, Alberta are spending hundreds of hours restoring a Second World War plane.
The Society is trying to preserve all of the history of the air base from World War II, because what they found is that history is slowly being lost if we don't preserve it. And so this is one part of that preservation, is this airplane that we're working on.
The plane was discovered 4 years ago in a field near the Red Deer Regional Airport. It was the remains of a 1941 Airspeed Oxford bomber, which was used to train pilots during the Second World War. Despite the years of work they've done, Vern Duick and David Cole Sink say there's plenty more to do still. They think there's 10 more years of work ahead of them.
Your Morning Winnipeg. Coffee is brought to you by Robin's Donuts, your favorite stop.
Terry, I saw the Northern Lights last evening, just before bedtime, and then on my way to work today, they were still happening. Not as bright as last night, but they were certainly in and out when I was driving into work. It was pretty incredible.
Okay, I saw nothing this morning, and I even went out and looked last night because I started to see a little bit of activity online of people sharing photos. So I did make an attempt, but I couldn't see anything from where I was situated downtown. The conditions, though, were very clear, so it did make for beautiful viewing if you happen to be maybe just outside the city lights enough to be able to see what was going on. It's -3 right now with winds of the west-northwest, 14 clicks. The pressure is rising and the humidity is sitting at 90%. Those clear conditions will set us up for plenty of sunshine today, but not everybody is going to get to enjoy that sunshine. You can see the heavier clouds in the far north, especially northeastern Manitoba, and maybe even a little bit of scattered snow in that area as well. But here through southern Manitoba, yes, beautiful and bright. Just a bit of a breeze, so nowhere near as strong of a wind, although those cameras outside are shaking pretty good this morning. We're headed to a high of 6 degrees. That is well above seasonal. In fact, where we're sitting right now at -3 is a lot closer to a normal daytime high. -1 is normal for this time of year to be reaching as high temperatures. -9, a seasonal low, and we're going to remain well above that overnight as we fall to -3. Those winds tonight starting to shift. They'll be coming out of the southwest. And tomorrow is southeast wind expected, but another beautiful day. Plus digits expected once again. Gets even better. We've got those double digits. I know I've been keeping an eye. It's been a week that we've been showing the double digits possibility. And sometimes as we get closer to that, it changes, but that looks to still be the case on Friday. Few extra clouds that day and then cooling somewhat as we're looking ahead through the weekend and next week, with the temperatures returning closer to what you would expect this time of year.
Winnipeg police have seized a significant amount of meth and illegal cigarettes as part of a drug trafficking investigation. Officers executed search warrants at 2 homes Sunday, one in the 400 block of Jefferson Avenue, the other in the first 100 block of Teakwood Avenue in Garden City. In total, officers seized more than 1,500 grams of meth, which is more than 3 pounds, 480 grams of cocaine, more than 250,000 illegal cigarettes. Nearly $20,000 in cash was also confiscated. A 37-year-old man faces several drug trafficking charges, and a 45-year-old woman is charged with possession for the purpose of trafficking and possessing the proceeds of crime. A chaotic scene at a global summit, the United Nations COP30 climate conference in Brazil. Dozens of Indigenous protesters clashed with security guards Tuesday as they tried to force their way into the summit's main venue. There were no serious injuries reported. Ghislaine Maxwell, who is serving 20 years for sex trafficking underage girls for convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein, is reportedly preparing a request to the Trump administration for clemency. And there are also allegations she is getting special treatment behind bars. CTV's Joy Malbin reports.
Outside this prison camp in Texas, Ghislaine Maxwell is reportedly working on her freedom. The convicted sex trafficker plans to ask President Donald Trump to commute her prison sentence. That's according to the top Democrat on the congressional committee investigating Jeffrey Epstein's criminal network. Congressman Jamie Raskin says a whistleblower detailed that and a list of Maxwell's prison perks, from playing with puppies to computer use.
The whistleblower made clear that Ghislaine Maxwell is just in a completely different category than every other prisoner. She gets essentially room service behind bars. She can use the shower. She can use the gym whenever she wants to.
The family of Virginia Giuffre are horrified. In Virginia's posthumous memoir, she called Maxwell a sexual predator who trafficked her to rich and powerful men, alleging the former Prince Andrew sexually abused her when she was just a minor.
If King Charles can strip Andrew of the prince title over just affiliations, why is our president not definitively ruling out a convicted sex trafficker of minors, of children?
Donald Trump's lawyer interviewed Maxwell in federal prison last July after she claimed President Trump was not involved in any illegal activities. Maxwell was suddenly transferred to this prison camp. Congressman Raskin claims the whistleblower says the warden there is helping Maxwell apply for her freedom.
Ghislaine Maxwell is actively seeking a commutation, a pardon from the president right now.
The White House says it doesn't comment on potential clemency requests, but the president has said before of Maxwell that he has not ruled out a pardon.
OpenAI has lost a copyright case in Europe. A German court ruled the company cannot use song lyrics to train ChatGPT without licenses. The case was filed by a music rights group on behalf of artists behind 9 songs, but it could be a sign of bigger problems for OpenAI. It's facing several court cases in the U.S. filed by media companies who say their work is being used without permission. Calgary's Spark Science Centre had some future engineers in for the Battle of the Bots. The annual event encourages children to explore tech and science. Families took part in robot battles, live demos, coding workshops, and more. Many Canadians say they'll be spending less this holiday season as they work through the higher cost of living. This is according to a new survey from insolvency firm Harris and Partners. Almost 72% of the Canadians surveyed say they will cut back on Christmas spending this year. About 62% say they do not feel financially prepared for the holidays, and 53% have anxiety about affording it. This station, CTV Winnipeg, is celebrating a milestone of its own today. It was 65 years ago that dignitaries cut the ribbon at Polo Park's Television Centre facility to mark the debut of CJAY TV Channel 7. The station first went on the air November 12, 1960 at 5 p.m. It joined the newly formed CTV network the following year. Some of CTV Winnipeg's iconic shows over the years include Skittlebits, a noon-hour kids show that aired in the 1980s when the station was known as CKY, as well as Archie and His Friends. CTV Winnipeg moved to the current downtown facility in 2006. Here's what's happening outside now at the Norwood Bridge. Looks things are moving well here to start off this Wednesday. No issues to tell you about at this point in the drive. If you see any problems out there, let us know, please. And here's a look at your gas prices. The Canadian average is $1.34. The provincial average is lower at $1.31. In Winnipeg, the average is $1.30. And the lowest price in the city is $1.18. All this info is on GasBuddy.com.
The Price at the Pump is brought to you by the Kidney Foundation. Help by donating your card today.
Coming up, we're live at the Brightest Christmas Art Show. We're going to feature an artist at 6:48. Stay with us.
Weather is brought to you by ABC Fire and Safety, your CO2 refill store.
All right, so I can't see the northern lights out here. I think they might be done. I wouldn't know. Actually, I don't know why I said that. The conditions are clear enough that I can see the stars. So still, it's a beautiful start to your morning. And we're still, of course, waiting for that sun to rise. In about an hour's time, it'll be up, or maybe just less than. It's -3 right now, so talk about a mild start to your morning with a bit of a breeze. A 14K wind right now out of the west-northwest, the pressure rising, and the humidity sitting at 90%. It's going to be beautiful today. It's clear already, and that means plenty of sunshine. And that'll be the case all across southern Manitoba, and even through much of central Manitoba and up into the northwest. Northeastern Manitoba will again see some heavier clouds hanging around. You might even see a little bit of scattered precipitation, probably in flurry form, although even into northern Manitoba, temperatures remaining above seasonal. It will be quite mild, but with the morning temperatures, it'll probably, the precipitation, show up as flurries and then taper off later on today. So it'll be a non-issue after the next few hours. Here in the south, we're looking at soaring temperatures, a fistful of degrees above the freezing mark, getting even warmer by the end of the week. We could hit double digits. We're going to check in with Ainsley McPhail now and see what she's up to this morning. Hey, Ainsley.
Hi, Terry. The Brightest Christmas. We're at Warehouse Artworks. That is the exhibition here. Largest one they've had in 46 years. Amazing. Tree joins us. She's one of the artists, the resident artist. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Oh, hello, everyone. I'm a Hong Kong artist. I'm Winnipeg based now. My work is about purchasing dreams, and mostly the style is whimsical and storytelling.
And I will say I have a couple of your pieces at home. You know this. I actually commissioned a few of them. I absolutely love it. I don't have this one. What's interesting, and I learned that today, is you spent over 20 hours on it consecutively?
Yes, I just done it before the show, yeah.
You're really downplaying that, because that is a lot of work. How do you get your brain to that point?
Maybe the ADHD thing, so you can hyper focus when you got to do things done, right?
Yeah. Or coffee. I don't know.
Coffee, like non-stop, like couple of coffees, of course. Yeah.
I'm joking with you. I love it. So this is supposed to be you.
Yes, that's me holding a big book. Like, I would want to write my own story about the art and about what I want to achieve in the future. Like, that book, I actually see it in the museum, and then I want to have one book like that after I die.
Wow, that's so fascinating. I love the colors too. Speaking of colors, to our immediate right, you've got 3 pieces here. Each artist has 5. What are the motifs? What are the themes that we're exploring?
These 3 pieces is about the courage to purchase your own dream, and then if you facing any obstacle, you just conquer them, and then like you have the hope that you can get there someday. Yeah.
Well, artists can, you know, especially local artists, they can really resonate with that. When it comes to supporting local artists, why is this art show so important?
The Brightest Christmas is not only about the art itself, it's about the community, because I think none gallery will do that. Like the 5th piece, the same artist sold, the gallery owner, Ross Sasaki, won't take commission on the 5th piece. And then we encourage other artists who sell 5 pieces to also collect a piece from the show of other artists' pieces. And then the gallery owner also won't take commission on that piece as well. So it's quite new, yeah.
Wow, amazing. Tree, thank you so much. I'm going to have to take a red sticker and just put it. Okay, we'll see you guys soon.
Looking at the early markets, the Dow Jones jumping overnight, the Nasdaq and S&P index also making positive gains. The loonie is trending lower, trading around 71.30 cents U.S. The Hang Seng adding 226 points, and the Nikkei index is up 220. Good morning, it is 6:46. An early morning fire at a homeless encampment has neighbors on edge. It was caught on camera by a homeowner who backs onto the site. CTV's Jeff Keel shows us what happened.
Flames and lights from fire trucks can be seen at a homeless encampment at Pacific Avenue and Ellen Street. The video is taken from Alan Chorney's yard that backs onto the camp. The homeowner says he saw this coming.
This is kind of a bit of a tinderbox, and I was really worried that it would go up in flames.
Chorney says not long ago he noticed what appeared to be a makeshift heating system installed in one of the structures, and then around 5 Tuesday morning, he was startled from his sleep.
I kind of heard a pop, 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 and then I heard some traffic just honking and honking. So I got up and looked out my back window, and the whole area was just in flames and blazed.
This is the aftermath: charred wood and other remains. Being in such close proximity to the tents, Chorney says he and his neighbors have safety concerns, and they go beyond the risk of fire. His neighbors won't let their kids play outside.
There's needles around, and there's human waste around, and so those are also concerns. Bike chop shops.
He's contacted the city about the camp and feels nothing has been done to address their concerns. Some things are being done. Main Street Project has been tasked to do outreach to encampments by the city, and they were on scene Tuesday, part of the province's Your Way Home strategy to house people. A city ban on encampments near schools, daycares, and playgrounds will begin this month, and a long-term solution for this site is in the works, as council has agreed to sell the lot for $1 to build affordable housing. Jeff Keel, CTV News, Winnipeg.
The Winnipeg Fire Paramedic Service says there were no injuries, and firefighters extinguished the fire, which involved personal belongings and debris. A troubling study out of the U.S. suggests pregnant women face a greater risk of homicide, especially when guns are in the picture. According to the study in JAMA Network Open, mothers-to-be were 37% more likely to be killed by a firearm than non-expectant women. Researchers looked at a violent death reporting database and analyzed all those involving women of childbearing age who died of homicide across 37 states between 2018 and 2021. It found every 1% increase in firearm ownership was associated with an 8% increase in firearm homicide rates involving pregnant women. The study says domestic violence firearm prohibitions and safe storage laws might help keep more women safe. Toronto Blue Jays manager John Schneider has come in second place for American League Manager of the Year. Schneider finished behind Stephen Vogt, who is the manager of the Cleveland Guardians. This was voted on by the Baseball Writers Association of America. Vogt picked up 17 of 30 first-place votes and had 113 points overall. Schneider had 10 first-place votes and 91 points. The other finalist was Dan Wilson of the Seattle Mariners. There was an enormous lineup at the Mint Tuesday as people waited to be among the first to get their hands on a new commemorative coin. The new coin marks the 25th anniversary of the repatriation of Canada's unknown soldier. It depicts the tomb of the unknown soldier and the silhouettes of 4 centuries, as well as a colored image of a poppy.
And just to see all those people for this coin makes me think that, you know what, maybe Remembrance Day is still really important to a lot of people.
We've been here often, and I cannot believe the lineup here. It's unreal. Well, just the design, the poppy and so on, I think it's very, very appropriate for Remembrance Day.
If you couldn't make it down yesterday, don't worry. The Mint is holding another coin exchange on November 27th and 28th. Just don't forget to bring cash. Some road closures to remind you about this morning. The westbound curb lane is closed on Higgins between Waterfront and Argyle. Following the morning rush, expect lane closures on Leela from Garden Park to McPhillips. And the westbound curb lane will be closed on Notre Dame between Flint and Winnipeg Avenue. If you have any other traffic tips to share with us, please text them.
Beautiful outside this morning. -3 keeps us well above seasonal and closer to a normal daytime high. We've got a breeze. You can see the camera shaking. It's actually only 14 kilometers per hour out of the west-northwest. I guess just the positioning. Maybe the camera's loose. Maybe it just needs to be tightened on those bolts. I'm not sure, but it seems to be shaking more than the winds would indicate. The pressure is rising and the humidity is sitting at 90%. The conditions clear all across southern Manitoba, right up into the northwest as well. The extra clouds lingering in the far northeast. And that's also where there's going to be perhaps a little bit of precipitation as well. The possibility of rain-snow mix, and that's because these temperatures are so very mild, headed into the plus digits, or maybe staying just below, but well above what is normal for this time of year. Now, while we've got the heavier clouds in the far northeast and maybe into the far north up around the Lynn Lake area, most of the rest of the northwestern part of the province will enjoy some sunshine, or at least a mix of sun and cloud. And these temperatures well up into the plus digits, and all through southern Manitoba, plus digit temperatures and plenty of sunshine. Increasing amounts of sunshine the further that you're moving into the southern stretch of the province. Over the southeast, it's looking gorgeous and clear. -1, a normal daytime high, so we're going to remain well above that. And not just today, it's going to be mild for the rest of the week. In fact, getting even warmer yet once we're looking to the end of the week on Friday, but it might not be quite as sunny by Friday. A few extra clouds will be moving in, but double digits on tap that day, and then it will start to cool down with some sunshine back for the weekend. These temperatures will be returning to closer to what you would expect this time of year, with that seasonal -1 ahead.
Thank you, Terry. Work is being done to better understand not just the physical toll, but also the mental toll military service can take. And now a high-profile Canadian is enlisting to help. Former federal Conservative leader and veteran Erin O'Toole is revealing a new plan to serve in the name of science. CTV's Natalie Johnson explains.
It's about 5K.
Down on the boardwalk by his East End home, Erin O'Toole still maintains a quick pace in life after politics.
When I run, I generally go to the volleyball courts.
The former federal Conservative leader harnesses physical activity to support brain health, grateful that he never suffered a brain injury during his years of service in the military.
Our veterans serve, and many of them come back with injuries, both physical, mental. Some aren't visible. And traumatic brain injury is something that we're really starting to understand.
Now, in this time of remembrance, O'Toole is pledging to donate his brain when he dies to Project Enlist. Research conducted by the Concussion Legacy Foundation to better understand the impact of military service on the brain.
You first think of the roadside bomb and, the light armored vehicle and the concussion, but it doesn't have to be that dramatic.
It's this revelation that it's not just concussions, it's the cumulative non-concussive impacts over time that people sustain during the course of their service that can end up leading to mental health issues, neurodegenerative disease, CTE.
Even though O'Toole didn't suffer head trauma during his time in the military, his brain can serve as a baseline or control for the testing. So far, more than 500 veterans have pledged to donate their brains for research.
I think we need to make sure we have the best protection, headgear and other things for our men and women in uniform. And we have to find treatment methods to reduce injury and treat it early so that there can be a quality of life.
Quality of life that is so critical year-round, well after Canadians take off their poppies when the Remembrance Day ceremony ends.
I hope this donation will take place a long time in the future, but I want to be part of something that is so positive.
arming the Canadian military with research that will help to better educate and equip. Another step forwards in supporting those who serve. Natalie Johnson, CTV News, Toronto.
As the temperature drops, the number of flu cases often goes up. There are warnings about the current strain of influenza and how this year's vaccine might not completely protect you. CTV's Heather Wright reports.
A severe strain and a mismatched vaccine could mean a bad flu season for Canada.
The specific strain we're worried about this year is called H3N2. It tends to have more severe seasons.
Though not a direct indicator, countries in the north always look to the south for clues to how the upcoming flu season might unfold, as theirs starts earlier. And in Australia, this year was particularly bad. The highest number of lab-confirmed cases ever amid declining vaccination rates. Another challenge, the vaccine developed for the upcoming flu season is not a perfect match to the strain circulating.
You try and predict what's going to emerge, but the virus mutates very quickly. And some years that match is very good. Some years it's not as good. We may be running into a situation this year, and I think may is the important word because it's not a perfect prediction where the match is not as good.
This year's flu vaccine targets 2 influenza A strains, including a subtype of H3N2, as well as an influenza B strain. Doctors say some protection is better than no protection.
Even if it's not a perfect match, there'll be some degree of protection. You might still get sick, but you might be protected from, for example, hospitalization or pneumonia, or the more severe consequences of infection.
The Public Health Agency of Canada says it's far too early to predict whether Canada will see a severe flu season. Among the factors that will have an impact are the effectiveness of the vaccine, but also other respiratory illnesses like RSV and COVID. Heather Wright, CTV News, Toronto.
Does this room look familiar? This is a replica of the Great Green Room from the classic children's book Goodnight Moon. It features green walls, red carpet, a fireplace, and a dollhouse. The room was recently unveiled at the Boston Sheraton. Every child who stays at the room gets a plushie and milk and cookies. Looks like a sweet spot. We're going to take a break here. We'll be back after this short break. Stay with us. It's Wednesday, November 12th. Today, honoring heroes. Minnedosa keeps the spirit of Remembrance Day alive with banners paying tribute to local veterans. Plus, Global Talks G7 Summit wraps at Niagara-on-the-Lake as ministers tackle trade tensions, energy, and security. And 65 years strong, from black and white beginnings to HD headlines, CTV Winnipeg celebrates 65 years on air. Your Morning Winnipeg starts right now. Good morning, Manitoba. Happy Wednesday to you. Coming up at about 7:52, we're going to tell you about a group of women who are doing everything they can to make kids' wishes come true. They're called Women for Wishes. We're going to tell you a little bit more about their organizations and what you can do to support them. But the weather, it's been so mild. Honestly, for this time of year, no snow. I'm just blown away.
It's shocking. And with all the outdoor events going on this weekend, Santa Parade, Grey Cup, it's going to be beautiful. Not as beautiful as it's going to be over the next couple of days. It will eventually start to cool down, but still. Oh my goodness, stopped in my tracks. Look at that. That's gorgeous. Wow, that's gorgeous. -3 right now. Winds, there are 14 clicks out of the west-northwest. The pressure rising, the humidity at 90%. That is gorgeous. Whew. It's gorgeous. I have no other words for it. I'm at a complete loss. Anyway, let's take a look at the conditions. Clear right now. A few extra clouds right up into parts of northeastern Manitoba with perhaps a few scattered flakes of snow. That's where the clouds will be lingering today into parts of northwestern Ontario as well, and a little bit of scattered precipitation that you'll see throughout the day. It may eventually warm up enough that you're going to get some plus digits and maybe flurries changing to showers, although it should be tapering off later on into the day. The sunshine will stick around for us until, of course, it sets at 4:49. So we are seeing the sun setting earlier, shorter days, but still these warmer days are a bit of a shock to the system, especially because it's going to get even warmer yet. Now, northern Manitoba will still deal with these extra clouds lingering through the rest of the week and more precipitation to come. You could be getting some flurries or maybe mixed in with some freezing rain or showers. That's how mild we're talking talking as far as the temperatures go. And here in the south, those temperatures getting up into the double digits by the end of the week, and still pleasant over the weekend. It will start to cool down. -1 is a normal daytime high. We're getting back to that, but the conditions looking gorgeous with sunshine continuing well into next week. And it's rain depicted here thanks to Emma's art, 10 years old. Thank you for sharing this with us, and we'd love to see more of your art, so keep the pictures coming to Winnipeg Weather at ctv.ca.
The Weather Art of the Day is brought to you by 103.1 Virgin Radio.
You can see ads for all kinds of things on city streets. The small Westman community of Minnedosa is advertising something a little different this Remembrance Day. It's past. CTV's Joseph Bernacki shows us what's on display.
These people were all from our community, and they gave so that we could have freedom.
As Minnedosa resident Gwen Usick looks up at her father's banner amongst dozens in the town, she's proud to know his military service and others will be on display for years to come.
It's a sense of pride, you know, pride for the community, the service that he gave, and it lives on in all of us.
Usick's father, 4 uncles, and a second cousin are just 6 of 143 veterans displayed via banners spread out in the community of a little more than 2,700 residents. 73 double-sided banners have been raised honoring veterans from Minnedosa and the surrounding area.
Being a small town, of course, the word got around and it just mushroomed after that.
The first 50 banners were hung in 2019 and the project quickly grew. Dennis Pearson reached out to the Legion to honor the 2 generations that came before him.
We didn't go because we wanted to, we went because we had to. The area and the town, the families have a lot of pride in what our parents and grandparents did.
And that's not the only way Minnedosa is honoring the past. Over the last 5 years, the town has draped a poppy blanket onto the cenotaph. Lorna Hislop says it was a dream to make it after inspiration from one in England. In 2020, she reached out to a team of volunteers, including Usick, to help her knit 4,600 crocheted poppies.
I had people as far as Nova Scotia contacting me and saying, we've seen your poppy blanket and we absolutely love it.
It was very near and dear to my heart to be able to see something like that come to life.
A visible sign of the pride this community feels very deeply. Joseph Bernacki, CTV News, Minnedosa.
The banners may get some extra company. The Minnedosa Legion plans to add the faces of more veterans on banners in the future. The park in Wolseley, named for a famous First World War battle in which Canadian troops played a pivotal role, hosted its annual commemoration Tuesday. Hundreds of people turned out for the Royal Winnipeg Rifles annual Remembrance Day ceremony at Vimy Ridge Memorial Park. The event dates back more than 40 years and honors not only members of the Rifles, but fallen members from all regiments.
Present arms.
And the Navy's role in wartime was marked at HMCS Chippewa. Winnipeg's land-based naval reserve recruited the 3rd most naval personnel in Canada, despite being the furthest inland. To this day, HMCS Chippewa is still one of the largest naval reserve divisions in Canada. A high-stakes meeting is happening today at the G7 Foreign Ministers Summit at Niagara-on-the-Lake. Foreign Affairs Minister Anita Anand will meet with U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio. Today's one-on-one meeting comes after trade talks between Canada and the U.S. were suspended by U.S. President Donald Trump. The U.S. trade war is not officially on the agenda during the summit, but Canada has invited countries outside of the G7 to the summit in an effort to find more trade partners.
Meeting global challenges requires global partnerships. The issues we are facing transcend the G7 and our borders.
As the 2-day summit wraps today, Ukraine will be a main topic of discussion. Ministers will also take a look at the ceasefire between Israel and Hamas. Other issues on the agenda include energy, critical minerals, development, and maritime security. Canadians now have access to a public listing of active cancer trials across the country. It's a resource that has long existed in the United States and Europe. The Canadian Cancer Society announced the launch of the new website called Cancer Trials Canada Monday. The site is entirely bilingual and was created to make academic and pharmaceutical-led trials more accessible to patients. The newly announced website also provides resources to educate the public about how clinical trials operate and the potential risks and benefits involved. You can find out more by visiting cancer.ca. This station, CTV Winnipeg, is celebrating a milestone of its own today. It was 65 years ago that dignitaries cut the ribbon at Polo Park's Television Center facility to mark the debut of CJAY TV Channel 7. The station first went on the air November 12, 1960 at 5 p.m. It joined the newly formed CTV network the following year. Some of CTV Winnipeg's iconic shows over the years include Skittle Bits, a noon-hour kids show that aired in the 1980s when the station was known as CKY, as well as Archie and His Friends. CTV Winnipeg moved to the current downtown facility in 2006. Here's a look at what's happening now at Kenison and Sterling Lion Way. Things are moving well here, no issues to tell you about at this point. If you see problems out on the streets, please let us know.
Weather is brought to you by Canadian Footwear, helping you find the perfect fit.
Holiday job postings are a little more plentiful this year, but that's hardly a respite for job seekers as competition for those positions is expected to be tough, with unemployment still elevated. A new report showing Indeed Canada's Holiday Hiring Trends report, released on Wednesday, late Wednesday, finds seasonal postings so far this winter are up 12% from last year, though still weak relative to prior years. Indeed Canada's senior economist, Brendan Bernard, who authored the report, says demand for seasonal workers generally mimics the broader state of the economy. The last two holidays were overshadowed by high interest rates and inflation, which tempered businesses' hiring appetite as households reined in spending. This year, however, consumer spending seems to be stabilizing as many retailers report a fairly solid year. A rebound in technology shares drove stocks higher as a slate of upbeat earnings and optimism that the U.S. government shutdown is nearing an end lifted sentiment. Markets are anticipating an end to the 43-day U.S. government shutdown, with House members set to return to Washington to vote on a spending deal. Traders are betting that the resumption of data releases could bolster the case for interest rate cuts amid uncertainty over the Federal Reserve's next move. The resolution of the last 4 U.S. shutdowns has typically lifted the S&P 500 in most of its sectors based on median performance. Stocks gained after every shutdown since 1995 except early 2018, with consumer shares leading the way. Those are your morning business headlines. For BNN Bloomberg, I'm Roger Peterson.
Let's go back now to Ainsley McPhail, who's live at the brightest Christmas art show. Good morning, Ainsley.
Good morning, Rochelle. I'm looking around going, what do I want to give people for Christmas? But maybe I'll just have to give some art to myself. And why not support local while I'm at it? We're at Warehouse Artworks, the brightest Christmas, largest show that they've had in 46 years, 22 artists, over 85 pieces of work. And coming up at 7:27, we're going to be chatting with Lisa Whitehouse, who is the painter of this gorgeous otter portrait. Yeah, I think I need that for literally any room in my house, but have a look at some of these gorgeous pieces. We're going to be chatting with the artists about some of their abstract work. We're going to be getting a bit of a demonstration in the 8 o'clock hour, actually bringing out the canvas and showing us the process. This spot is in the Exchange, and it's so fantastic for supporting local artists and even encouraging artists to purchase each other's work as well. So stay with us throughout the morning as we take a deeper look.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you, Ainsley. Let's go out to the rooftop now. A little bit of a breeze out there right now, Terry.
Yeah, I'm certainly noticing that. And I raced out here because you saw the work of art that Mother Nature had gifted us this morning with that sky. But how quickly it can change. It's not looking like that anymore. Don't get me wrong, it's still beautiful, but not all of that gorgeous orange glow. There's a little more blue happening now as we're getting closer. Oh, okay, I'm not seeing that. That's stunning. We can just keep it on that because that's better than what I got to share. Anyway, 3 degrees, sorry, no, -3. That's what we're waking up to this morning, but -9 is a normal low temperature, so we are still well above that. Yes, you can see the camera shaking. There is a bit of a breeze. It's only registering out at the airport at 14 kilometers per hour out of the west-northwest. The pressure rising and the humidity sitting at 91%. You can almost get seasick watching that camera move around like that, but still, how gorgeous is that sky? It's clear. We're going to remain on the sunnier side today. Of course, that sun has to rise first. That'll be happening at about 7:36 this morning, and then plenty of sunshine right up until it sets 449. So shorter days, but warmer days. We've got these well above seasonal temperatures expected throughout the rest of this week. Headed to a high of 6 degrees today. Similar temperatures all across southern Manitoba, even plus digits right up into northern Manitoba, but not everybody will get to see the sunshine. You'll enjoy it in the northwest, the northeast, though, some heavier clouds and maybe some scattered snow, not just through northeastern Manitoba, but further east throughout parts of northwestern Ontario as well.
Thank you, Terry. It's time now for a question of the day. It's National Pizza with the Works Day. We want to know which toppings belong on a pizza and which don't. You can text your answer along with your name to 10400. Make sure to follow the automated instructions so we can feature your response. At Your Morning Winnipeg, we're all about celebrating your amazing pets, furry, feathered, or scaly. Your Pet of the Week submissions have been amazing. We want to see even more, whether it's dogs, cats, birds, or any other pet pals. Send them our way, please. Drop your pet photos and a fun little story about them to petoftheweek@ctv.ca. And then catch us every Thursday to find out if your pet is our Pet of the Week on Your Morning Winnipeg. We're going to take a break here. We'll be back after this.
Give a child a winter coat. You give them the means to go to school on a cold day, a chance to play outside, because no child should be freezing cold. Donate to Coats for Kids. Proudly sponsored by United Way Winnipeg and CTV.
Good morning. The City of Winnipeg is planning to make some extensive modifications to its building security. The city intends to spend just over $261,000 to enhance security at City Hall. A new request for proposals indicates a plan to rip out the existing reception, security desks, and gates. In its place, new glass partitions and doors, along with structural modifications to the building. The city says the winning contractor will have to minimize disruption to council and committee meetings, which could mean completing some phases of the project on evenings and weekends. The mayor of Boston is in Nova Scotia this week on a trip to build ties.
It was important for me to be here this year to bring a direct thanks on behalf of the people of Boston and to express that we stand strong in our commitment and in our friendship in the good times, in bad times.
Mayor Michelle Wu will wrap up her 4-day visit today by taking part in the Boston tree cutting ceremony. Nova Scotia sends a tree to Boston every holiday season to thank the city for its help after the 1917 explosion. Wu will be the first mayor of Boston to be part of the cutting ceremony. Cheerleaders from across the country are packing their pom-poms and heading to Winnipeg for this weekend's Grey Cup. 5, 6, 7, 8. Starting Thursday, you'll be able to meet former CFL cheerleaders at Grey Cup Festival events. The Canadian Football Cheerleaders Alumni Organization says 75 of their members will be putting on shows and making appearances throughout the week. Performers range in age from their late 30s to late 80s. The gathering is giving these women a chance to reunite with other alumni and reflect on how cheering has changed.
I don't know if they do as much cheers now like we did way back when. But we did a lot of dancing too, but no stunting at that time. Not when I was.
Yeah, we started stunting back then, but yeah, it has changed a lot. Yeah. But there's a lot of things that are still the same too.
The organization says it has roughly 500 members. Here's a look at what's happening now along the St. James Bridge. Looks like things are moving well here. We have no issues to tell you about at this point in the Wednesday drive. If you see problems, let us know, please.
Traffic is brought to you by Curtis Carpets, Manitoba's flooring experts.
Time now for some entertainment. An autopsy has revealed the cause of death for the legendary original Kiss guitarist Ace Frehley. The former Kiss rocker died of blunt trauma injuries to the head after he suffered an accidental fall last month. Frehley is considered one of the greatest heavy metal guitarists of all time. He's the first among the 4 founding members of Kiss to pass away. Frehley was 74. Fans of The Wizard of Oz will have a rare chance to own iconic memorabilia from the 1939 original film, and one item could leave the lucky recipient spellbound.
Who killed my sister? Who killed the Witch of the East? Was it you?
The iconic black hat Margaret Hamilton wore as the Wicked Witch of the West is going up for auction. The wool hat is quite large, measuring 35 centimeters high. That's over a foot. Also up for grabs will be a Wizard of Oz book signed by Judy Garland and autographs by other main cast members. The auction is set for December 9th and 10th at Heritage Auctions in Dallas and online. A popular animated series is back, and we're getting a sneak peek.
Bonnie, there's a package for you.
This is the first teaser trailer for Toy Story 5. The main toys are back and aghast at the new toy that is joining the cast. This installment of the series is about a young girl named Bonnie who becomes enamored with her new favorite toy, a tablet called Lily Pad. Toy Story 5 is due in theaters June 19th. Beat the midweek blues with some great entertainment starting at 7 with The Floor. George and Mandy's First Marriage is on at 8. The Amazing Race follows at 8:30. It's all right here tonight on CTV.
The CTV primetime lineup is brought to you by Strictly Amish, exclusively in Arborg, Manitoba.
I'm loving these temperatures right now, Terry.
I think a lot of people are and would love to see them last through the weekend. They will start to dip, however, by the time the weekend rolls around. Through the rest of this week, though, it's going to be gorgeous. How gorgeous is that outside? I am just gobsmacked by this sky as we look now through the Bathfitter Live Eye Bathfitter, your bath and shower experts for more than 40 years. And that looks far better than what I could see from my little view on the rooftop, which normally looks quite stunning, but that particular view far better. Now, as far as the temperatures go, we are well above seasonal with -3. Our actual temperature right now sitting considerably above a seasonal low of -9. Now, we are seeing similar temperatures throughout southern Manitoba, either just a couple degrees below the freezing mark, as is the case over in Brandon at -2 or -1 in Kenora. But then there's several folks that are in the plus digits already, not by much, but a degree in Dauphin, Portage, in the Morden-Winkler area as well. Moving up into parts of northern Manitoba, right at the freezing mark through much of that eastern side of the province. Just a little bit cooler than that where it's clearer. And that's for anybody along that western border, just a degree or 3 below the freezing mark this morning. Now, with those clouds that are moving through or hanging around through much of northern Manitoba, there will likely be some scattered precipitation moving through as well. A little bit of light flurry activity from the northeast into parts of northwestern Ontario again, but very, very clear, which will mean very, very sunny once that sun begins to rise 7:36 this morning. Beautiful and mild with the temperatures on the rise as well. 0 degrees as kids get settled into the classroom. Lunchtime temperatures around 4 degrees and a beautiful balmy 6 expected later on as kids are wrapping up school. Now, 6 degrees still on tap for tomorrow, but even warmer yet on Friday. Nowhere near as sunny. We will start to see a few extra clouds moving in, but then those clouds clearing out. However, the temperatures will start to drop. Still pleasant for the weekend and still for next week too. When you think that -1 is normal, that's what we can expect as we look ahead to next week. How stunning is this with the cows just hanging out? I wonder what they thought of the northern lights. I'm sure they were equally gobsmacked as so many of us were, or those of you that saw it, I should say. Thanks to Sarah for the photo, and keep them coming to Winnipeg Weather at ctv.ca.
Thanks, Terry. Canada's veterans often need care, both physical and mental, when they return home. Many suffer from chronic pain and other ailments, and a treatment called shockwave therapy has been used by thousands. As CTV's Merrick Takash reports, in a few weeks' time, the treatment will be limited.
Is one side worse than the other?
My right side.
Justin Yasub was in the military for 16 years. He was deployed multiple times, including to Iraq, to fight against ISIS.
I was involved in a big incident there where we lost my friend. I was wounded myself. I got shot in the arm.
6 years of serving with the Canadian Special Operations Regiment took a toll on his body.
I just kind of surrendered to the fact that I'm just going to be in chronic pain for the rest of my life.
Earlier this year, he tried shockwave therapy for the first time.
I've done a lot of different therapies for my back to deal with it and try to live a pain-free life, and nothing really kind of made the change until shockwave.
Last week, the federal budget was unveiled. Now only 3 sessions will be covered per lifetime for each veteran experiencing chronic pain.
Because I know I needed multiple sessions to get to where I wanted to, it pretty much just, you might as well say 0. because the 3 sessions are not going to do the trick.
Echelon Wellness in Castle Downs is Alberta's first healthcare clinic exclusively for military veterans and RCMP.
It is like starting a surgery and not finishing it, so to speak. 3 treatments is definitely not enough. The number of treatments should be left between the healthcare providers and the patients.
Veterans Affairs Canada says it's changing how it funds shockwave therapy because of its mandate to ensure veterans receive safe and evidence-based medical treatments. Yasub has all the evidence he needs.
My back doesn't cramp up, it doesn't spasm, and I'm not in that pain anymore.
He hopes the government reconsiders its decision because of how beneficial the treatment is. Merrick Takash, CTV News, Edmonton.
A Saskatoon bowler has rolled himself into the record books at just 21 years old.
When you get that close, everybody stops and watches. There's nobody else bowling in the bowling alley.
Cooper Budnak has achieved what many bowlers spend a lifetime chasing, a perfect game on the national stage. He accomplished the feat at a National Youth 10-pin championship in Quebec, getting 12 strikes in a row and earning him a perfect 300 score. This week, he was also honored with a prestigious perfect game ring. Budnak says his next goal is to bowl 3 perfect games in a row. Coming up, we are live at the brightest Christmas art show. Stay with us for details on the artists behind these beautiful pieces. Let's go back now to Ainsley McPhail, who's spending the morning with art today. What a great way to start a Wednesday.
Yes, absolutely. And this artist is inspired by pieces of nature. Lisa Whitehouse joins us to tell us all about it. We're featuring the brightest Christmas at the Warehouse Artworks, their first holiday show and their biggest ever. Lisa, thank you so much for being here. I kind of want the Blue Jay one, but because of my Blue Jays, I'll just add a little bit of a teardrop to it. Tell us about your works.
Yeah, I paint a lot of wildlife pieces with a real focus on bright colors and just using different textures to bring their personalities to life.
And it's kind of perfect for Manitoba because we have so much spectacular wildlife.
Exactly, yeah. People really gravitate towards the bears, the polar bear. I do a lot of owls and foxes as well because people just really like to see the things they're familiar with.
And bringing that immersive experience, I should say, to the lake.
Exactly, yeah. A lot of people buy my art for the cottage where they're familiar with those animals and they see them every day.
And you mentioned the colors. I personally love bright colors. You also were telling me off camera about spray painting that throughout your experience.
Yeah, absolutely. So I like to build like a lot of layers in my paintings. So I start with just like a clean wash of like a, say, a burnt sienna, and then I slowly just add layer upon layer until it feels complete, which varies depending on the painting. Sometimes it can take me weeks to get to that feeling.
That's so cool. I noticed too that they're all making a different expression or doing something different. The otter. Okay, this is a total focal point. Why an otter portrait?
You know, I just felt like they're such a regal animal, and with the circle frame, I wanted something that just felt like a sort of an old school portrait, but with a modern take, with the layers, with the abstractions, just to sort of bring their character. I feel like they're just like a whimsical little animal.
It reminds me of something Victorian. Like we should put a crown on it or something.
That's the look I was going for. I debated putting a crown on it, but I was like, no, too far, just keep it subtle.
Hold it back. Before we're out of time, why should people come to this art show?
You know what, it's such a great way to see art in person. I feel like art is best enjoyed in person with a community where you can talk about it and just see all the beautiful creations here. There's so much color, there's so much beauty.
Well, next maybe I'll have to commission a family portrait. We'll get like a whole bunch of otters. One's just laying down. That's awesome. That one's for you, Rochelle.
Okay.
Maybe Terry.
Well, thank you. And you know, I'm all about art right now. I got a beautiful piece for my birthday from Guy Madden on the weekend.
Ooh, very nice.
I feel so blessed. It's gorgeous. Of course, there's a touch of George Michael in there.
Of course. I wouldn't want anything else for you, Rochelle.
Exactly. I'm very spoiled.
Oh, well, I hope your birthday was as lovely, because now you've got lovely weather to enjoy for your birthday week. And how spectacular is this? Sky's starting to change that. That's more what it looked like when I was on the roof, which, don't get me wrong, it's pleasant. But if you rewind your TV about 10 minutes back or 20 minutes back, it looked even more stunning. -3 at the moment with winds out of the west-northwest, 14 kilometers per hour. The pressure is rising and the humidity is sitting at 91%. Still very, very clear, which means very, very sunny. And that sun is up in just a few minutes time, 7:36. So we're only 5 minutes away from official sunrise. And there you can see still looking very clear on the satellite image. A few extra clouds across parts of northern Manitoba could bring a little bit of light snow to the area. We're not going to be seeing anything like that. Just grab the sunglasses for today. And beautiful temperatures expected as well, headed to a high of 6 degrees with northwest winds to about 20 clicks or so. Those cameras, they've really been shaking outside, but the winds actually aren't as strong as what it might seem looking at that camera. Down to -3 overnight. -9 is actually a seasonal low temperature, so remaining above normal even into the overnight hours, and winds starting to shift out of the southwest tonight. For tomorrow, it's going to be beautiful once again. There might be a few extra clouds hanging around, but honestly, that'll just make for an even more dramatic sunrise. 6 degrees expected again, and then doubling those temperatures by the end of the week. Yeah, double digits up to 12 degrees. That's how we'll finish off the work week. With the sunshine, a few extra clouds Friday. Sunshine coming back into the weekend, but those temperatures starting to drop off. Still very pleasant, right around the freezing mark. That's where we'll remain into the middle of next week.
Winnipeg police have seized a significant amount of meth and illegal cigarettes as part of a drug trafficking investigation. Officers executed search warrants at 2 homes Sunday, one in the 400 block of Jefferson Avenue, the other in the first 100 block of Teakwood Avenue in Garden City. In total, officers seized more than 1,500 grams of meth, which is more than 3 pounds. 480 grams of cocaine, more than $250,000 illegal cigarettes. Nearly $20,000 in cash was also confiscated. A 37-year-old man faces several drug trafficking charges, and a 45-year-old woman is charged with possession for the purpose of trafficking and possessing the proceeds of crime. New travel frustration Tuesday for many in the U.S., even with an end in sight to the government shutdown. The Federal Aviation Administration reduced flights by 6% to help with staffing shortages because of unpaid traffic controllers who were not coming into work. That will increase to 10% of flights by the end of the week. The Senate has passed a deal to fund the government through January 30th, and a vote in the House is expected later today. It is the longest government shutdown in U.S. history. Crews are still working to get the lights back on in the Dominican Republic after a rare nationwide blackout. The outage disrupted mass transit systems, including the metro in the capital, where some people got off the train and started walking through tunnels alongside the railway. As of last night, about 30% of the system was back online. Officials are blaming a failure in the grid's transmission system, although the cause hasn't been confirmed. We're now getting a closer look at the Hudson's Bay Historic Art Collection set to be auctioned off.
The Hudson's Bay commissioned well-known Canadian artists to paint historical scenes for their calendars, and they would keep the original calendar painting. And so these are some of the Canadian artists that they chose.
27 fine art paintings from the historic company's 4,400 item collection will be going to the highest bidder next week. Previews of the collection have been held in cities across the country, and Toronto starting this week. Among the favorites, this one called Lights of a City Street features Toronto in the 1890s by Canadian artist Frederick Marlette Bell Smith. The bidding will start at 3 p.m. next Wednesday. Imagine being able to take a joyride on a whale. Scientists tracking humpback whales off of Australia's coast have captured this rare footage of remoras hitching a ride. Remoras spend their lives aboard whales or other large marine mammals, which they ride across the ocean. They're harmless and feed off dead skin and sea lice in a sort of mutually beneficial relationship. There was an enormous lineup at the Mint Tuesday as people waited to be among the first to get their hands on a new commemorative coin. The new coin marks the 25th anniversary of the repatriation of Canada's unknown soldier. It depicts the tomb of the unknown soldier and the silhouettes of 4 sentries, as well as a colored image of a poppy.
And just to see all those people for this coin makes me think that, you know what, maybe Remembrance Day is still really important to a lot of people. We've been here often, and I cannot believe the lineup here. It's unreal. Well, just the design, the poppy and so on, I think it's very, very appropriate for Remembrance Day.
If you couldn't make it down yesterday, don't worry. The Mint is holding another coin exchange on November 27th and the 28th. Just don't forget to bring your cash. Some road closures to remind you about this morning. The westbound curb lane is closed on Higgins between the Waterfront and Argyle. Following the morning rush, expect lane closures on Leela from Garden Park to McPhillips. And the westbound curb lane will be closed on Notre Dame between Flint and Winnipeg Ave. If you have any other traffic tips to share, text them to us, please. And here's a look at your gas prices. The Canadian average is $1.34. The provincial average is lower at $1.31. In Winnipeg, the average is also is at $1.30. And the lowest price in the city is $1.18. All this info is on GasBuddy.com.
The Price at the Pump is brought to you by the Kidney Foundation. Help by donating your car today.
Right now, we're sitting at -3 with the wind chill feels like -8. We'll be back after this with more Your Morning Winnipeg.
Your Morning Winnipeg. Coffee is brought to you by Robin's Donuts, your favorite stop.
Magical sights and sounds are coming to downtown Winnipeg. It's time for the Manitoba Hydro Santa Claus Parade. Stream it live November 15th at 5 p.m. on ctvwinnipeg.ca. Brought to you by Manitoba Hydro.
Once again, the camera is shaking out there. It's nowhere near as windy as that looks, though. The breeze is 14 kilometers per hour out of the west-northwest. -3 is where we're sitting with the pressure on the rise and the humidity at 91%. I was saying they probably just need to tighten the bolts in the camera so it's not so loose, because just a 14K wind shouldn't be doing that to the camera. It won't be doing that to you either. It's going to be a very pleasant day ahead with clear conditions all across southern Manitoba, central Manitoba, and up into the northwest. You can see, though, the heavier clouds hanging around through the northeastern part of the province, and with those clouds, very likely to be a bit of precipitation as well. Mild enough, though, that even if you do see some flurries, could change to showers as these temperatures continue to rise. Just below the freezing mark is where it'll stay in Churchill. Other places could be pushing up into the plus digits today, well above what you would expect for this time of year. Lynn Lake might also remain just below the freezing mark at -1 with some heavier clouds, but the rest of northwestern Manitoba enjoying a mix of sun and cloud and increasing amounts of sunshine once we look further into central and southern Manitoba. These values, taking us well above seasonal normal daytime highs, would be -1. We're into the plus digits, and we're going to stay there throughout the rest of this week. Very, very pleasant, lots of sunshine, and just a moderate breeze expected through the day today. Further east of us, plenty of sunshine, but it might be a degree or 3 cooler, not quite as balmy throughout parts of northwestern Ontario. Now, it gets even warmer yet by the end of the week on Friday, with a few extra clouds to wrap up the work week. Once we're looking ahead to the weekend, the sunshine is out in full force again, but we will notice these temperatures taking a bit of a slide and returning to what is normal for this time of year.
Thank you, Terry. Let's go back now to Ainsley McPhail. We are learning all about the brightest Christmas art show. You've been introducing us to some of the artists that are featured there. You're going to introduce us to another one. Good morning.
Yes, Danielle Fontaine-Kozlowski joins us now. It's part of the Brightest Christmas, and I absolutely love your work. Tell us about yourself.
Yeah, so I'm an abstract oil painter. I work with the theme of the inner landscape, and what that means for me is just exploring the emotions and the experiences that we go through as human beings through color.
Mm-hmm. And I've been saying all morning, okay, we're going to see some abstract paint. Do I really know what that is? Am I an artsy-fartsy person? How do I even put that? No. But I want you to be able to explain it to our audience who also doesn't know.
Yeah, so you're using color and you're using texture and you're using depth to just play around in regards to how you actually feel around the painting, what you sense around the painting, what it evokes in you, the messages that might come through. You're just kind of sitting with the colors and the textures and just letting it speak to you. And there's no right or wrong way to actually experience abstract art.
Mm-hmm. And when you talk about some of the themes, you might be feeling something different depending on which piece you're looking at. This one is a huge focal point. What were you going for with that?
Yeah, so that one is called Nothing is Wasted, and it's about the idea that we as human beings don't go through this earth without experiencing something challenging. And so if you actually allow yourself to process the emotion or the experience, that you can turn it into something really beautiful.
Mm-hmm. And that seems to contrast with the pink one and purple one you have here.
Yeah, so the pink one's a really fun and light one, and that one is all about love and finding your partner.
Mm-hmm. When it comes to your process, I'm noticing with the white one, a lot of texture. How do you make that happen?
I use different tools. So the three main tools that I use is oil paintbrushes, a small palette knife, and also an actual traditional drywalling mudding knife that people use to drywall and mud their walls. And that allows me to kind of work with the shadows if I'm using a small palette knife, and works with the layering as well. Like just a lot of layering create depths as well. So I'm kind of using different tools to kind of play around and allow myself to explore different ways of working with the paint.
It's terrific. Why should people come to the show?
Because it's a great show, and it's a way to kind of discover some new local artists and a way to come together for Christmas and buy somebody a special gift that's really meaningful and local and handmade.
I love it. Thank you so much for this conversation. The brightest Christmas happening until December 31st.
Thank you, Ainsley. And Edmonton Brewery is honoring those who died in a battle with a special ale. Campio Brewing teamed up with the 49th Battalion Loyal Edmonton Regiment Association to create the charity beer. As CTV's Nicole Weisberg reports, proceeds from its sale will fund memorials overseas.
At Campio Brewing downtown, the orders just keep coming for this special brew.
It's just been basically the only thing we've been selling so far today.
It's called Lee Stock, named after the Edmonton Regiment's mascot coyote. It honors local soldiers who fought in the First World War.
The style of brew is a bière de garde. The bière de garde is a style of beer that actually originated from France, where the Canadian soldiers fought.
Campio collaborated with the 49th Battalion Loyal Edmonton Regiment Association on the beer. The association is currently raising funds to install memorial monuments on battlefields overseas.
Because people like to know, like, where did we fight? You know, like we fought at Vimy Ridge and we fought it, but some of the major battles where we lost a lot of life, and that's what we just so we recognize the people that's for their sacrifice.
Jack Bowen is the president of the Loyal Edmonton Regiment Association. He's visited several war sites where Edmontonians made major sacrifices. And he noticed, other than grave sites, there is no recognition of that.
And we probably have, I think we have about 1,000 soldiers that were fought with the Edmonton Regiment that are buried in quite a few cemeteries over in Belgium and in France.
The association has already secured land for monuments in Passchendaele and the Somme. Proceeds from the sale of this beer will help with their efforts.
So it's good. It's a good initiative. Anything like that we can do, it's a good thing.
How's the beer?
Beer is good.
Lee Stock will be on tap at Campio throughout November or until it's gone. Nicole Weisberg, CTV News, Edmonton.
This was anything but a routine traffic stop.
Listen carefully, I'll tell you exactly what to do.
When Officer Hacksham pulled over a truck in Michigan, he realized there was a woman inside in active labor. With no time to waste, the decision was made to deliver the baby on the spot. The voice guiding Officer Hacksham through the delivery belonged to his youngest brother. He works dispatch in the area and happened to be on the call. Both mom and baby are now home and doing well. Let's see who's celebrating a milestone today. Happy 20th birthday, Rylan. Love mom, dad, and Uriah. Happy birthday, Javi. Lots of love from Miss Kelly. Happy 8th birthday to Lauren May. Your family hopes you enjoy your special day. Happy 15th birthday, Anna. Love Mila, dad, mom, and all the fur balls. Happy 13th birthday, Darius. Love Auntie Rocks and girls. Happy 5th birthday, Adeline. Love and best wishes from your family. And a happy 75th birthday to Ken with love from your wife and family. To submit your milestone, visit our website, ctvnewswinnipeg.ca, and fill out the form at least 2 days in advance. It'll also enter you into our monthly contest for a chance to win a $100 gift certificate to Party Stuff.
Milestones is brought to you by Party Stuff. 3 Winnipeg locations and at partystuff.ca. Weather is brought to you by Garage Masters, your complete garage specialists.
It's beautiful out here this morning, headed to a high of 6 degrees when -1 is a normal daytime high. We got above 6 degrees last year. 7.9 was what last year's temperature was, but the record from 2016 was 13.6. So certainly in later years, we've been enjoying these balmier temperatures, and that'll be the case again today and throughout this week. Beautiful conditions as well, with a bright blue sky above and clear at the moment. Can't even spot a cloud out here right now. It's -3 at the moment, with a bit of a breeze out of the west-northwest. It's 14 kilometers per hour. The pressure is rising and the humidity is sitting at 91%. Grab the sunglasses, though, for anyone around southern, central, and northwestern Manitoba. Northeastern Manitoba is not going to be anywhere near as bright. Instead, some heavier clouds lingering, and you might even see some precipitation starting as flurries, but could even change to showers, because even where those heavier clouds are lingering, the temperatures are expected to climb well above seasonal and even into the plus digits for most folks. That includes northwestern Ontario. I will enjoy more of a mix of sun and cloud, but yes, clear conditions here through the south, and then still tomorrow and Friday with these well above seasonal temperatures. But we will start to see a few more clouds moving in tomorrow, and even more by the end of the week.
In just 2 short years, a group of passionate women has raised over $1.7 million to grant wishes for Canadian children facing critical illnesses. They're called Women for Wishes, and they're gearing up for an annual holiday event aimed at inspiring hope and joy, and hopefully grant even more wishes for children who need the most. Joining us now to share more about this are Trina Nault, SHMQ, and Brenda Weiss SHMQ, participants in Women for Wishes. Good morning to both of you.
Good morning.
Well, thanks for joining us. Now, tell us a little bit about how this all began 2 years ago, and why you felt it was important to do this.
You want to start?
You go ahead.
Okay. Well, I mean, I actually found out about it, maybe it was 2 years ago. I went as a guest to a Women for Wishes event here in Winnipeg.
Okay.
And it was a bunch of women getting together, raising funds for this amazing cause. Kids who are waiting for a wish, and I was just super inspired, and so I just decided to become a Woman for Wishes myself and raise my own $10,000 to grant a wish.
Wow. And so obviously these children are in really dire situations. They're in the hospital a lot, and they just want a wish, right?
Yeah.
But these are really expensive wishes. They could be glamorous, they could be elaborate. Why is it important to make their wishes come true?
Well, this past year, Make-A-Wish Canada did marketing on Wishes Are Medicine, and it's been proven that a wish decreases ER visits, it improves their treatment and response to treatment, and it just gives the child and family hope and memories, and it's very powerful.
What kind of wishes are we talking about that you've helped make happen?
I mean, it's everything from Disney World, like just the things that you would imagine, but then some people want to redecorate their room, you know, and just like make a massive change to their room at home. I think a big point to what you were saying, Brenda, is like the families. So the families go through so much too, the siblings, the parents, and when we hear the stories back, it affects the families just as much as it affects the child that's suffering from the critical illness.
And so when you do have those families come back from whatever wish it was that their kids wanted, what do they tell you?
Very impactful, and I think it's an opportunity for them to be their child to just be a kid. You know, they're not in a hospital, they're not getting needles and medicine, and it's a time for just enjoying their experience, whatever they chose as their wish, and it's very impactful.
And so being able to be a part of something like that, how does it feel for you and for the other women who are part of your group?
Well, for me, I'm a nurse, and I started my career at Children's Hospital, and now my career is slowing down, and I wanted to devote more of my time and energy in volunteering. So Make-A-Wish was just really a perfect fit to kind of come full circle for me.
How about you?
You know, I'm a certified financial planner, so there's a benefit to donating from a financial planning perspective, but it gets so much deeper than that. Like, I just think I feel very blessed. I have had healthy children that are grown up now, and I just care about my community so much, and I just wanted to, you know, have an opportunity to give back in this way and to connect with other women. Like, we've met such great women along the way, and there's great women across Canada doing the same thing, and we're all like-minded. So it feels great to be part of that community.
Yeah, so we're heading into the holidays. What are you hoping to do over the next couple months to continue making wishes come true?
I'm going to start gearing up to my campaign for next year. You know, so I already reached the $10,000 milestone, which will grant a wish already for this year, and start thinking about how we're going to do it for next year.
What do you want people to know? How can they support you?
Well, we're always looking for more women to join our Women for Wishes here in Manitoba. And I think there's a website that they're going to put up. But you can look up Make-A-Wish Canada and look under Manitoba and Nunavut. And we have Trees of Joy coming up shortly, where children that are waiting for wishes come together. They each get a Christmas tree that's donated by a corporate sponsor, and it's a very magical experience. Yeah.
This is so beautiful. Well, thank you so much for sharing this with us. And if you do want more information, we have a link on our website. Thanks, ladies.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Adam Scully here inside the Sports Center newsroom with your must-see moment from Tuesday. And for it, we're heading to Boston. Bruins taking on the Leafs. Check out the passing play to spring David Pastrnak on the breakaway. Walks in, undresses Dennis Hildeby. Great setup from his teammates. And an even better finish by Pasta for his 400th career goal, making him the 6th Bruin to ever reach the milestone. He would score again later for Boston's 7th straight win. That is your must-see moment. NBA action tonight on TSN as the Knicks host the Magic. New York is a perfect 5-0 so far on its 7-game homestand. Coverage starts at 7 p.m. Eastern. That's all from the Sports Center newsroom. Have a great day.
The TSN Must-See Moment is brought to you by Super Blinds, helping your home get holiday ready with Blinds by Hunter Douglas.
It's Wednesday, November 12th. Encampment blaze. Why nearby homeowners say fire is not the only hazard that's adversely affecting their Centennial area neighborhood. Flu season. Some experts say there may not be an exact vaccine match this time, but getting the flu shot still has benefits. And dolphin dance. This unusual visitor to the famed waters of Venice is busy wowing tourists. Unfazed by the bustle of the area, your morning Winnipeg starts right now. Good morning, Manitoba. It's 8 o'clock on your Wednesday. Thank you so much for staying with us here on Your Morning Winnipeg. Coming up at 8:45, she's a local magician who's getting some notice around the world. She's included in a book. It's called The Power of Magical Women, and she gets her own page. So we're going to have her in studio doing a magic trick for us a little later in the hour. But the weather, it certainly looked like magic last night. The skies were lit up.
Oh my goodness.
So many northern lights. It was incredibly beautiful.
I am so jealous that I missed this because the number of photos that have been sent in and how early folks were able to view these northern lights before 7 p.m.
6:45 for me, yeah.
Unbelievable. I did actually take a look because I saw so much activity online of people sharing and posting their pictures that I did try to see it, but I'm right in the downtown area and right in the thick of the light pollution. So I didn't get much of a viewing of it, but apparently there was still activity this morning. And now at this time, well, the sun is up, but it's gorgeous and clear and it's going to be a beautiful day. -3 is where that temperature sits. Breeze out of the west-northwest, 14 kilometers per hour. The pressure is rising and the humidity is sitting at 91%. So those clear conditions last night did make for the spectacular viewing of the northern lights. And we're going to have a gallery up on our website that you'll be able to check out and see what it looked like all around the province, because honestly, pictures were coming in from every corner. Now, as far as the conditions go this morning, it's beautiful and clear here in the south, northeastern Manitoba. That's where there's some extra clouds, and tucked into those clouds, a little bit of precipitation, some scattered flurries possibly through northern Manitoba and into parts of northwestern Ontario as well. That band of clouds will actually stick around for a couple of days. Here in the south, it'll remain quite clear. We might start to see a few more clouds over the course of the day tomorrow, but still really nice temperatures throughout the rest of this week. A few more clouds are expected to be moving in by Friday. Friday is the day that northern Manitoba could start to see some precipitation again. But with these warming temperatures, you might see some snow, but then possibly a rain-snow mix or even straight-up showers because the temperatures will be so incredibly mild and well above what you would expect. 6 degrees on tap the next couple of days, could hit double digits by the end of the week. -1 is a normal daytime high. We'll slide back to those more seasonal temperatures through the weekend and into next week. Thanks to 10-year-old Emma for today's art, and we would love to see more of it. So keep drawing those pictures, coloring, painting, and send it to Winnipeg Weather at ctv.ca.
The Weather Art of the Day is brought to you by 103.1 Virgin Radio.
A homeless encampment in Winnipeg is causing concern for neighbors after it went up in flames earlier this week.
I kind of heard a pop, and then I heard some traffic just honking and honking. So I got up and looked out my back window, and the whole area was just in flames and blazed.
Alan Chorney's yard backs onto the camp and says he's not surprised the fire happened. Chorney says he noticed what appeared to be a makeshift heating system installed in one of the structures days before. He says he and other nearby residents have safety concerns that go beyond the risk of fire.
There's needles around, and there's human waste around, and so those are also concerns. Bike chop shops.
Chorney says those hazards have some neighbors deciding not to let their kids play outside. He says he has contacted the city and feels nothing has been done to address their concerns. However, a long-term solution for this site is in the works, with council agreeing to sell the lot for $1 to build affordable housing. It could be a rough flu season across the country this year.
The specific strain we're worried about this year is called H3N2. It tends to have more severe seasons.
One strain on the rise this season is H3N2. It tends to hit babies, seniors, and people who are immunocompromised the hardest, but everyone can obviously become infected. Adding to the challenge is that this season's flu shot is not a perfect match for that strain. Public health officials say it's still too soon to make predictions about this flu season. Experts are reminding people it's still a good idea to get the flu shot. A high-stakes meeting is happening today at the G7 Foreign Ministers Summit at Niagara-on-the-Lake. Foreign Affairs Minister Anita Anand will meet with U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio. Today's one-on-one meeting comes after trade talks between Canada and the U.S. were suspended by U.S. President Donald Trump. The U.S. trade war is not officially on the agenda during the summit, but Canada has invited countries outside of the G7 to the summit in an effort to find more trade partners.
Meeting global challenges requires global partnerships. The issues we are facing transcend the G7 and our borders.
As the two-day summit wraps today, Ukraine will be a main topic of discussion. Ministers will also take a look at the ceasefire between Israel and Hamas. Other issues on the agenda include energy, critical minerals development, and maritime security. A wild dolphin has become a regular in the waters off Venice's St. Mark's Square. He's really been entertaining tourists, but there's also some concern for his safety because of heavy marine traffic. Dolphins are rare in the area, though 2 were spotted during COVID-19 shutdowns. It's believed he entered the lagoon in late June and appears unfazed by the bustle of the area. They're hoping the cooler winter weather will drive him to the open sea and to look for warmer, safer waters. Here's what's happening now on Donald Street. It looks like things have picked up in this part of the city, as you can see here. There's also another traffic alert to tell you about. The westbound curb lane of Marion Street is blocked, approaching Youville. If you have any other traffic tips to share with us, please text them at 10400. Let's go now to Ainsley McPhail, who's live this morning at the Brightest Christmas Art Show. It's happening right now and runs till the end of December. Good morning.
Good morning, Rochelle. And I heard Terry glowing about the Northern Lights. Our next guest, Nicole McKinnon, I bet she was just looking at them last night and then thought, oh, I have to bring something into your morning Winnipeg. Is that what you were doing, Nicole?
No, not pre-planned at all, actually. Just happy coincidence.
There's so much of that here. What makes it your biggest inspiration?
Honestly, not being originally from Manitoba, but now based in Winnipeg, I was really awestruck when I moved here, just the vast expanse of the sky that's in this province. One of the things I really like to do is really play around with like exaggerated movements in the sky. So a lot of my stuff is really playful when it comes to the clouds or the aurora.
You can see that in this large one here. Is there a specific spot that you're at in Manitoba, or is it just in general?
It's pretty much just in general. I tend to kind of hover on the outskirts of the city when I do go aurora chasing. And sometimes I just go for a drive and I'll have a painting that will come up in my head based off of something I had seen weeks or months ago, and the inspiration just kind of strikes when it hits, right?
How do you do it? Because you've got some little ones here too.
I do. So I kind of brought a few things just to kind of talk about how I go about my process. Now, a lot of my paintings does start with either a gradient or a solid color over here. And then I get really fun. I always say my old paintbrushes are my best friends. The more kind of beat up and worn they are, the more fun I have creating the textures like this. So I'll layer different textures based on what I want the overall feelings to be coming from the sky. And then I kind of go in, and the fun really happens in my third step. So this is where I'll add my representations of clouds, aurora. The larger the piece, the more complex, the more fun I get to have with it. And then after kind of like that really abstract fun is concluded, then I'll kind of go in with a little bit more realistic subject matter, whether it be an animal or a piece of architecture or a landscape.
I think the most realistic part is the bear dancing. I bet that's what they're doing up in Churchill. I'm just joking with you. We're almost out of time. Why should people come to the show?
Because it's an amazing way for art to be accessible to everyone. I mean, sometimes there are people who are really intimidated coming to galleries, and having smaller, more accessible pieces, just a really great way for the community to kind of come together and experience something that they might not otherwise do.
I think I'm the luckiest because I get a behind-the-scenes tour and a one-on-one explanation. I guess so do you guys too. More at 8:38.
Well, thank you, Ainsley. Walking is good for your health, but how about a month-long loop around Prince Edward Island? CTV's Maria Saru caught up with some Canadians making the trek to find out what they learned along the way.
Boots on red soil and one step after another. Veteran Sheldon White finished part of the island walk this fall, a 707-kilometer loop around PEI as a personal challenge.
The military experience helped a little bit because I was familiar with going on long marches, but it was more challenging than I expected.
White flew airlifters for search and rescue and served a tour in Afghanistan before returning to the island to teach engineering. The former commander says out here, the mission is simple but not easy.
Walking for 5 hours straight without a break is actually fairly hard, and then to do that multiple times. I have a lot of respect for the people who've done the entire walk.
Much of the island walk runs right here on the Confederation Trail. Some tackle it by foot, others by bike, with many finding hard-earned healing along the way.
It's been a hell of a trip. Sandra Cernowski from Winnipeg walked for 32 days, carrying profound personal loss.
I wanted to find out who I was after my husband passed away, after his battle with cancer.
All around, there were signs he was walking with her.
So this penny here, can you see it? There was a day on the trail, and I looked down and I found a penny. I picked it up and I looked really close, and it said 1972 on it. And my husband was born in 1972.
Bryson Guptill created the Island Walk in 2019 after finishing a couple long treks in Europe. He wanted to give Canadians the experience closer to home.
When you walk for over a month and you're carrying everything you own on your back, it's a very, very cleansing experience.
Back on the road, White aims to finish the walk next year. Maria Saru, CTV News, Charlottetown.
Beautiful outside. Look how gorgeous and bright that sky is looking, and not a cloud to be found as we look through the Bathfitter Live Eye. Bathfitter, your bath and shower expert for more than 40 years. Yeah, beautiful. Honestly, I've been so stunned by the sky all morning long, especially as the sun was rising at 7:36. Now it's going to be up till about 4:49, so it's not like these days are super long, but they are super warm compared to what you would expect this time of year. -1, where we're sitting right now, that would be a normal daytime high. Well, it's just barely 8 o'clock, so you know it's going to warm up from here. -3 over in Brandon. We've got still a couple of places that are just below the freezing mark through central Manitoba and even up into parts of northern Manitoba, just below the freezing mark, but only by 3 or 4 degrees. We've got a few extra clouds hanging around in northeastern Manitoba, but for the most part, all along this western border through central and southern Manitoba is actually quite clear and very, very beautiful. With these extra clouds in the far northeast, there might be a few scattered flakes of snow. Here through the southern stretch, though, and Winnipeg more specifically, it is going to be gorgeous and bright and very sunny, with the mercury on the rise, getting to 1 degree as kids get settled into the classroom. Lunchtime temps around 4, and our high today is 6 degrees, which will be reached by the time kids are coming home from school. 6 degrees expected again for tomorrow. A few more clouds and a few more yet on Friday, but even warmer temperatures, double digits for the end of the week. And then after that, it will look a little bit brighter for the coming weekend, but a little bit cooler as these temperatures slide and return to what is normal for this time of year. We're taking a break right now, but stick around. We'll be back with Your Morning Winnipeg.
We all know just how cold Manitoba winters can be. Imagine not having a winter coat, boots, a toque, or mitts, and stepping out into the cold. That's the reality for many kids. But you can change that. Give the gift of warmth. Donate to Coats for Kids.
Holiday job postings are a little more plentiful this year, but that's hardly a respite for job seekers, as competition for those positions is expected to be tough, with unemployment still elevated. A new report showing Indeed Canada's Holiday Hiring Trends report, released on Wednesday, late Wednesday, finds seasonal postings so far this winter are up 12% from last year, though still weak relative to prior years. Indeed Canada's senior economist, Brendan Bernard, who authored the report, says demand for seasonal workers generally mimics the broader state of the economy. The last two holidays were overshadowed by high interest rates and inflation, which tempered businesses' hiring appetite as households reined in spending. This year, however, consumer spending seems to be stabilizing as many retailers report a fairly solid year. A rebound in technology shares drove stocks higher as a slate of upbeat earnings and optimism that the U.S. government shutdown is nearing an end lifted sentiment. Markets are anticipating an end to the 43-day U.S. government shutdown, with House members set to return to Washington to vote on a spending deal. Traders are betting that the resumption of data releases could bolster the case for interest rate cuts amid uncertainty over the Federal Reserve's next move. The resolution of the last 4 U.S. shutdowns has typically lifted the S&P 500 in most of its sectors based on median performance. Stocks gained after every shutdown since 1995 except early 2018, with consumer shares leading the way. Those are your morning business headlines. For BNN Bloomberg, I'm Roger Peterson.
Toronto Blue Jays manager John Schneider has come in second place for American League Manager of the Year. Schneider finished behind Stephen Vogt, who is the manager of the Cleveland Guardians. This was voted on by the Baseball Writers Association of America. Vogt picked up 17 of 30 first-place votes and had 113 points overall. Schneider had 10 first-place votes and 91 points. The other finalist was Dan Wilson of the Seattle Mariners.
The 2025 IG Wealth Management Financial Confidence Index exceeded the historical average for the first time since 2021. Now, to share more on the findings of the index, we're joined now by Head of Financial Planning with IG Wealth Management, Christine Van Couwenberg. Good morning, Christine.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for being here. Now, this is important stuff, so I want to make sure I ask you the right questions. What factors contributed to the rise in the 2025 Financial Confidence Index to 52?
Well, the Financial Confidence Index is made up of a number of factors, and some of them related to the general economy, so sort of macro indicators. Those actually went down.
Okay.
People do not have a huge amount of confidence in what's happening generally. But there are a number of factors that relate to someone's personal situation, so their personal financial literacy and how confident they feel in it being able to make payments. Those factors went up.
Okay.
So people obviously feel that their personal situation is perhaps more in control, or they're taking more proactive steps to, you know, take care of their finances, but that was the factor that made the overall factor go up.
And that's very important. I know that's something I try to practice more and more myself. And we kind of addressed this already, but why are Canadians rather confident in their personal finances despite that lower trust in the broader economy?
Well, when I looked at the score historically, it took a major dip in the beginning of 2022, right when interest rates spiked up and the economy took a bit of a hit.
Makes sense.
And I think at that point, everyone, you know, panicked a bit, and what's going to happen when my mortgage is renewed, and there was a lot of concern about increased prices. But since that time, the confidence factor has been going up because I think people are now factoring that in.
Sure.
So they know prices are going to be higher, but perhaps their wages are also higher. Maybe they're making different choices. Maybe they're not extending their credit as much as they might have when interest rates were lower. Interest rates have settled a bit. They're still a little bit higher than they were before, but you know, I think it's just people now know what to expect, and they've factored that in, and it's just calmed down a little bit.
And how do the findings maybe differ between groups, say between women or Indigenous peoples or even Quebec residents for that matter?
Well, it was interesting to me because some of the groups that sometimes have had a little bit less confidence, so let's say women or persons, Indigenous persons, they're now starting to equalize, which is a really fantastic thing to see. And I think a lot of that has to do with the fact that they're getting access to more information. I think that financial advisors, like the industry, is now reflective of who they are. So perhaps they wanted to speak with an advisor who's from their cultural background or their, you know, so I think if they feel that they have more access to information, can take control over their situation and feel more educated, their confidence level will go up. And it's equalizing, which is great to see.
And that piece about advice and where they like to get it from, I'll ask you quickly, human advice versus AI-driven tools, what are your findings there?
Interestingly enough, we have more access to information online and artificial intelligence than ever. But there's so much information out there, people don't know what to trust. So there's actually more interest in speaking to a human. And I think it's like when you're thinking about your personal health, you can go online, do as much research as you want, but when you're making that final decision, you want to speak with a doctor.
Absolutely.
So, yeah.
That makes sense. Christine, thanks so much.
Thanks for your time.
All right, it is so gorgeous out here. Every time I step outside, it's hard to believe that we're almost mid-November. The sun is shining, the sky bright blue, and it's looking absolutely beautiful. And these temperatures, well above what you would expect this time of year. We're sitting at -1 right now. That would be a normal daytime high, and it's not even 9 a.m. Winds, they're 18 clicks out of the west right now, with the pressure rising, and the humidity is sitting at 86%. And it is incredibly clear all across southern Manitoba, central Manitoba too, and right up into the northwest. That's where the sun is going to be shining the brightest for today. Northeastern Manitoba will still enjoy some very mild and pleasant temperatures, but some heavier clouds hanging around and maybe even some scattered snow, which as it warms up today, because even there in the northeast, temperatures will likely be pushing up into the plus digits. So there's the possibility that flurries change to showers as the day goes on. Here in the south, yes, it's just going to remain very clear and sunny with the mercury on the rise to mid-single digits. 6 degrees expected today. We'll do that again tomorrow. And by the end of the week, though, we will start to see some heavier clouds by Friday. Mercury could hit double digits before it all slides back to seasonal as we're looking ahead to the weekend. We've been talking all morning about the incredible northern lights last night, and these cows got a good view of them as well out at Low Country Ranch. Thanks to Sarah for the photo, and keep them coming to Winnipeg Weather at CTV.ca, and we'll be back right after this break.
Weather is brought to you by Mr. Lube Plus Tires. Open late, ready when you are.
Magical sights and sounds are coming to downtown Winnipeg. It's time for the Manitoba Hydro Santa Claus Parade. Stream it live November 15th at 5 p.m. on ctvwinnipeg.ca. Brought to you by Manitoba Hydro.
As the temperature drops, the number of flu cases often goes up. There are warnings about the current strain of influenza and how this year's vaccine might not completely protect you. CTV's Heather Wright reports.
A severe strain and a mismatched vaccine could mean a bad flu season for Canada.
The specific strain we're worried about this year is called H3N2. It tends to have more severe seasons.
Though not a direct indicator, countries in the north always look to the south for clues to how the upcoming flu season might unfold, as theirs starts earlier. And in Australia, this year was particularly bad. The highest number of lab-confirmed cases ever amid declining vaccination rates. Another challenge, the vaccine developed for the upcoming flu season is not a perfect match to the strain circulating.
You try and predict what's going to emerge, but the virus mutates very quickly. And some years that match is very good. Some years it's not as good. We may be running into a situation this year, and I think may is the important word because it's not a perfect prediction where the match is not as good.
This year's flu vaccine targets 2 influenza A strains, including a subtype of H3N2, as well as an influenza B strain. Doctors say some protection is better than no protection.
Even if it's not a perfect match, there'll be some degree of protection. You might still get sick, but you might be protected from, for example, hospitalization or pneumonia, or the more severe consequences of infection.
The Public Health Agency of Canada says it's far too early to predict whether Canada will see a severe flu season. Among the factors that will have an impact are the effectiveness of the vaccine, but also other respiratory illnesses like RSV and COVID. Heather Wright, CTV News, Toronto.
A new skincare line for kids as young as 3 is igniting a fierce debate. The creator says it's not about beauty, but self-care that's fun. But some parents and healthcare providers are not so sure. NBC's Stephanie Gosk reports.
We start to think that 3-year-olds need to be obsessed by anti-aging or
makeup.
Rini, which means children in Korean, is a new company from actress-turned-entrepreneur Shay Mitchell and two of her friends. Mitchell says it was inspired by her own experience with her two daughters wanting face masks she thought were inappropriate.
The ingredients in these masks are crazy. They actually shouldn't be used for kids at all.
Her beauty brand has face masks designated for growing faces ages 3 and over.
We are committed to being dermatologist tested, hypoallergenic, vegan, cruelty-free.
Mitchell says it's not about beauty, but self-care that's fun, gentle, and safe. But some parents and healthcare providers are not so sure.
At age 3, the only thing I think we should be considering is getting them into a little habit of being clean and just hygiene.
Generation Alpha, which includes children ages 15 and younger, has been swarming into beauty stores, dubbed on social media as Sephora Kids. They spent $4.7 billion on beauty and skincare in 2023 alone. That demand is driving new so-called skinfluencers on social media.
Get ready with me for my best friend's pool party.
Like 11-year-old Naya, the star of a viral TikTok account run by her mom, Ashley.
I've learned a lot about skincare and makeup. I've learned how to have a lot of fun with my mom. This one's kid-friendly.
The pair says it's a way to start healthy routines together.
That if your children are old enough to be curious about it, it's time to have a conversation.
When it comes to using preventive skincare products, doctors say kids should wait until puberty.
Wait till there is an issue, when their skin actually changes, then you start targeting their skin with specific products.
Your Morning Winnipeg. Coffee is brought to you by Robin's Donuts, your favorite stop.
It's so beautiful outside. -1 is where we're sitting, and look at that sky. Cannot even spot a cloud. It's gorgeous and clear, a bit of a breeze out of the west, 18 kilometers per hour. The pressure is rising and the humidity sitting at 86%. It's stunning today. It was gorgeous yesterday. I think yesterday we got up to 8 degrees. We might not do that again today, but we'll still be well above seasonal, and beautiful clear conditions through central, southern, and parts of the northwest. And then you can see the extra clouds all through northeastern Manitoba, into parts of northwestern Ontario as well. In those clouds, there might even be a little bit of precipitation, which might start as flurries but change to showers as the temperatures will warm up today. Speaking of warming up, we're in for a high of 6 degrees. It's going to be absolutely gorgeous and well above normal. -1, just for a reference point, that would be a seasonal daytime high. We're going to get up to 6 degrees today with northwest winds at about 20 clicks, so a little bit of a breeze to go along with that. As we're dropping overnight down to -3, we're going to notice a shift in the winds out of the southwest, but -3 compared to a normal low of -9. We're still doing okay, and back up to 6 degrees again tomorrow. Might start to see a few extra clouds for tomorrow, and then even more clouds expected by the end of the week on a Friday. But Friday, even warmer temperatures. We could be hitting double digits. After that, it all kind of comes to an end as we return to the more seasonal values, but there will be plenty of sunshine throughout the weekend, and that will linger well into the start of next week.
A community in Western Manitoba has come up with a novel way to honor the service and sacrifice given by local residents who were members of Canada's military.
We didn't go because we wanted to. We went because we had to. The area and the town, the families have a lot of pride in what our parents and grandparents did.
73 double-sided banners have been raised along town streets honoring veterans from Minnedosa and the surrounding area. The first 50 banners were hung in 2019, and the project quickly grew. And that's not the only way Minnedosa is honoring the past. Over the last 5 years, the town has draped a blanket made up of 4,600 crocheted poppies onto the cenotaph.
I had people as far as Nova Scotia contacting me and saying, we've seen your poppy blanket and we absolutely love it.
It was very near and dear to my heart to be able to see something like that come to life.
The banners depicting the names and faces of local veterans may get some extra company. The Minnedosa Legion plans to raise more banners featuring local veterans in the future. This station, CTV Winnipeg, is celebrating a milestone of its own today. It was 65 years ago that dignitaries cut the ribbon at Polo Park's Television Center facility to mark the debut of CJAY TV Channel 7. The station first went on the air November 12, 1960 at 5 p.m. It joined the newly formed CTV network the following year. Some of CTV Winnipeg's iconic shows over the years include Skittlebits, a noon-hour kids show that aired in the 1980s when the station was known as CKY, as well as Archie and His Friends. CTV Winnipeg moved to the current downtown facility in 2006. Work is being done to better understand not just the physical toll, but also the mental toll military service can take. And now a high-profile Canadian is enlisting to help. Former federal Conservative leader and veteran Erin O'Toole is revealing a new plan to serve in the name of science. CTV's Natalie Johnson explains.
It's about 5K.
Down on the boardwalk by his East End home, Erin O'Toole still maintains a quick pace in life after politics.
When I run, I generally go to the volleyball courts.
The former federal Conservative leader harnesses physical activity to support brain health, grateful that he never suffered a brain injury during his years of service in the military.
Our veterans serve, and many of them come back with injuries, both physical, mental, some aren't visible. And traumatic brain injury is something that we're really starting to understand.
Now, in this time of remembrance, O'Toole is pledging to donate his brain when he dies to Project Enlist. Research conducted by the Concussion Legacy Foundation to better understand the impact of military service on the brain.
You first think of the roadside bomb and, the light armored vehicle and the concussion, but it doesn't have to be that dramatic.
It's this revelation that it's not just concussions, it's the cumulative non-concussive impacts over time that people sustain during the course of their service that can end up leading to mental health issues, neurodegenerative disease, CTE.
Even though O'Toole didn't suffer head trauma during his time in the military, his brain can serve as a baseline or control for the testing. So far, more than 500 veterans have pledged to donate their brains for research.
I think we need to make sure we have the best protection, headgear and other things for our men and women in uniform. And we have to find treatment methods to reduce injury and treat it early so that there can be a quality of life.
Quality of life that is so critical year-round, well after Canadians take off their poppies when the Remembrance Day ceremony ends.
I hope this donation will take place a long time in the future, but I want to be part of something that is so positive.
Arming the Canadian military with research that will help to better educate and equip, another step forwards in supporting those who serve. Natalie Johnson, CTV News, Toronto.
Let's take a look now at what's going on in traffic on Portage Avenue. Things are pretty good over here, as you can see. Barely a car on the road at this point in the drive. If you see any problems out there, let us know, though, please. And here's a look at your gas prices. The Canadian average is $1.34. The provincial average is lower at $1.31. In Winnipeg, the average is $1.30. And the lowest price in the city is $1.18. All this info is on GasBuddy.com.
The Price at the Pump is brought to you by the Kidney Foundation. Help by donating your card today.
For our question of the day, we wanted to know which toppings belong in a pizza and which don't. Addie says pepperoni and pineapple is my favorite combo. And yes, pineapple does belong on pizza. Kevin disagrees, saying extra cheese belongs, pineapple does not. Keith says, I don't think hot peppers belong on pizza. Anything else is okay. Jackie says all toppings are good. It's great to try new combinations and flavors. She says many years ago, we even had an escargot pizza in Beausejour. It was delicious. Gina says everything and anything is allowed on pizza. There's every kind of pizza from regular to fruit pizza. I love them all. Trevor says bacon does, pineapple doesn't. Marlene says pineapple and bacon and tomato. All toppings belong on pizza. Wendy's favorites are lots of pepperoni and cheese. Mike says cheese and pizza sauce are the mandatory basic pizza topping. Fish, anchovies are something that shouldn't be on a pizza. Thank you very much for your responses. Let's go now to Ainsley McPhail, who's been talking about art this morning. And there's an art sale happening just in time for the holidays. Good morning.
Good morning, Rochelle. The Brightest Christmas. You got to come and check it out. It's here till the 31st. One of the artists joins me now, Nikki Braun. Thank you so much for being on our show.
Thanks.
Tell me about your work. It's abstract. And when we talk about abstract, not a lot of us understand it. So how do you want people to feel when they see your stuff?
I want people to
feel how it makes them feel. Like when I create work, I create because I'm trying to express something or get across a concept, but that doesn't mean that when someone else looks at it, that's what they're gonna see. So I might do some really crazy, bold lines, and I'm trying to portray frustration, and you might look at it and think, wow, this is wild and fun. So the meaning shifts, and that's fine. It's how you feel, how you see it, what it does to you.
The one here in the corner with the turquoise and the black, that took you quite a while to do. Tell us about the layers.
So the layers are, I painted, then I sanded it off, and then I painted and I sanded it off and added more layer and more sanding. And it's just about letting what's underneath shine through, and that's life, right? Yeah. Like things from our past shine through, and sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad, but it's always kind of there making us who we are.
Mm-hmm. And the big one, I love the use of color here. You talked about lines as well. What did you take out of it?
To me, it's called Second Youth, and it's about living your life in midlife and not succumbing to the boxes that midlife women are tried to be put in. You have to fade quietly into the night. It's about being bold and lively and living your life to the fullest.
Mm-hmm. Women in midlife watching this, please be louder. When it comes to this art show, dozens of local artists. Tell us about why people should come by.
Because Manitoba has a great art community with so many talented artists and that you may not have known or seen before. So if you come here, you get a wide variety of that art and skill that's local.
Mm-hmm. Where can people find you otherwise?
You can find me on Instagram at nikkibron.abstract.art or online.
Oh, where do we find anyone these days? That one's called I'm Fine Too, which I absolutely love that figure of speech. All right, the brightest Christmas happening at the warehouse. You're going to want to come and check it out. It's here until the 31st.
Thank you, Ainsley. Let's go out to the rooftop now. Terry, how's it feeling out there? It looks sunny.
It is so sunny, and honestly, there's a few suns out here now because of the reflection in the downtown buildings. I got one up to the east. There's another one coming at me from behind, and I'm not mad about it, honestly. Beautiful blue sky above, and it's looking absolutely gorgeous. And these temperatures, they're already well above seasonal. -1 would be a normal daytime high, and here we are sitting there at not even 9 a.m. It does have a bit of a breeze, feeling more like -6 with that wind out of the west, 18 kilometers per hour. The pressure rising, the humidity sitting at 86%. But yes, it's gorgeous, and it's going to be another beautiful day. It's going to be beautiful through the rest of the week with these above seasonal temperatures continuing. But not everybody is going to get to enjoy the sunshine. The far northeastern part of Manitoba, heavier clouds are going to linger, but still with the above seasonal temperatures. So with those clouds in the northeast, there might be a little bit of flurry activity that could start out as flurries, but then changing to showers, because even there temperatures will be likely pushing up into the plus digits today. So right across the province, no matter where you are, whether you're seeing the sunshine or the extra clouds, the temperatures are going to be well above what you would expect. And here in the south, it's going to remain quite sunny for today and tomorrow. A few more clouds expected by Friday, but doubling these temperatures, 6 degrees on tap today. We could hit double digits by Friday, and then it will cool down just a little bit for the coming weekend. We're taking a break, but we'll be back with your Morning Winnipeg.
Have a news tip? When you see news happening, let CTV News Winnipeg know. Text your tips, pictures, and videos to 10400. That's 10400. Message and data rates may apply.
A young bowler from Saskatoon has rolled himself straight into the record books. At just 21, he achieved what many bowlers spend a lifetime chasing. CTV's Carla Shinkarik has the story of a perfect game achieved on the national stage.
Knocking down all the pins with one throw takes practice and skill. Cooper Bunyak was at a national youth 10-pin championship in May in Quebec, and he did it over and over, strike after strike, until 12 in a row sealed a perfect score of 300.
It's kind of just a surreal experience when you finally do it, especially surrounded by, well, I guess, the best in their respective divisions in Canada.
This is huge. Especially at a national event like that, but bowling at 300 is not an easy feat.
This video taken at that victorious moment, 300 fans gathered around his lane.
It's now or never, right? So then you go up there, and at that point, then you're nervous because you're like, well, I'm going to do it, and I haven't done it. So then, at that point, you just got to be like, well, calm down. When you get that close, everybody stops and watches. There's nobody else bowling in the bowling alley.
Banyak is a 21-year-old engineering student at the University of Saskatchewan. Despite that workload, he devotes his time to the sport, and he's still eligible as a youth bowler for one more year. He was also presented with a prestigious perfect game ring this week.
This is
Thank you.
quite an achievement for you.
So just how rare is this accomplishment? Well, here at Eastview Bowl, which is considered one of the best in the province, the last adult to get a perfect score was 2 years ago. The last youth was 1994.
That's 30 years in the making right there. So it's not like it happens every day or every week.
Now with a perfect game checked off, the next goal is even bigger. 3 perfect games in a row, something few bowlers do, but few bowlers are throwing like this. Carla Shinkaruk, CTV News, Saskatoon.
From eating razor blades to catching bullets, magician Chanel Monroe knows how to stun and dazzle audiences in her incredible performances and workshops. And she joins us now in studio to share more about her magical career and shows us one of these incredible illusions. Chanel, good morning. Thanks for being with us.
Thanks so much for having me, Rochelle.
You always look amazing.
Oh, thank you. You know, what's the point of being a magician if you can't have good shoulder pads, right?
It looks awesome.
Thank you.
How did this whole journey begin for you? How did you delve into the world of magic?
So it started when I met my now husband, magician Sean Watson.
Okay.
So I started as his magic assistant, or as we say in the industry, a box jumper.
Okay.
So he would be cutting me in half, making me to disappear. And then I said, teach me a magic trick of my own. So I learned one of my own, and I got so into it that I kept learning more and more and more, came up with my own solo show, and now my solo career is launching.
And you're getting noticed because we have this brand new book. It's called The Power of Magical Women, written by Connie Boyd. You are one of the magical women featured in this book. This came out on November 1st, by the way. How does it feel being a part of this book?
You know, it's an absolute honor. I just got my book in the mail yesterday because the book just dropped November 1st, so it's fresh out. And reading all the other amazing women in this book that I'm included with is such an honor. There's many, many different Canadian magicians, world record breakers, beautiful magicians from history's past. So to be included in this anthology is such an honor.
I guess, and to be able to showcase that when you go on the show as well. So what are some of the favorite things that you do when you do perform in front of an audience?
So some of my specialties are dangerous magic. So I've set a record for the most bullet catches performed by any female magician, catching over 100 bullets in my career. So I really like dangerous magic. That has killed over 12 magicians. So putting my life at risk for everyone's entertainment, it's a thrill to me. And then also I am the only professional female Métis magician in the entire world. So I do a lot of work in northern remote communities, lots of magic shows for Indigenous youth, and so I weave my own Métis culture and teachings throughout the magic show and make it a part of the magic tricks, which, as I believe, no one's ever done before in history's past. So I think that's part of the reason why I was included in this book.
That's very cool. Okay, you're going to do something for us here in studio. What are you going to do?
So I'm going to switch it up a little bit, Rochelle.
Okay.
Instead of a magic trick, I'm actually going to do an escape.
Okay.
So this is an escape made famous by Dean Gunnarsson.
Yes.
Winnipeg's very own world's greatest escape artist. So for this trick, we are going to try and break a record. So the record being 60 seconds to get out of this rope. Now to do this, Rochelle, I need you to go ahead and examine the rope. Go ahead. Very good. I'm just joking. Go ahead. Pull on the rope, tug on it, make sure the good people out there know that is, in fact, just a rope. Okay, very good. So now, Rochelle, you are going to hog tie me. You are going to hog tie my hands to my legs as tight as you can. So come along and take either end of the rope and pull on either side. Okay. And now make a nice tight knot on top of my wrists, as tight as you can. Don't be shy. Let her rip. Ow, 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 ow,
sorry.
ow. That's okay. Make a second one on top just as tight as the first. Ow, ow, ow.
Okay.
And you know what? 3 times the charm. Make a third knot on top as well. Okay, excellent. So, as the viewers can see, my hands are tied to my legs.
Yes.
And my hands are literally turning red. That is not an illusion. But now, we are going to try to break the record. So to do this, Rochelle, go ahead and take that red cloth.
Yes.
Very good. And if you can, drape it over top of my hands. Very good. And now, Rochelle, just stand right there and face the camera right there. Perfect. And so, as I was saying, I've got about 60 seconds to get out of this rope right here. Rochelle, go ahead if you can, please. Go ahead and pick up that cloth again for me. Very good. And now, over top of my hands. Very good. And now just stand right there and face the audience. Very good. And you know what? I still don't think we're going to be able to do this. Rochelle, help me out again, please, and put that over top of my hands. I need all the viewers watching this right now to give me a countdown. So, count down to 60. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5,
What? Your
6,
hands.
7,
Did you not
8,
see that, you guys?
9, 10. Rochelle, go ahead and pick up the cloth.
What?
13, 14, 15, 16, give me a high five, 17, 18, 19, 20. One more time, Rochelle, pick up that cloth.
Okay, I don't even know what's going on now anymore. It's -1 outside, and we've got some beautiful bright blue skies. She has escaped. I don't even know what happened here. Winds out of the west, 18 kilometers per hour. The pressure rising and the humidity sitting at 86%. We ran out of time, folks. That's all I can say. Anyway, the conditions this morning, they're very clear. Heavier clouds up into the north as far as what you can expect over the next few days. It's going to be beautiful. It's going to be mild and well above normal. 6 degrees today and tomorrow, getting up to 12 by Friday with some heavier clouds by the end of the week. But after that, the sunshine returns. With the sunshine comes the slightly cooler temperatures, back to what is normal for this time of year. We're taking a break. We'll be back with Your Morning Winnipeg.
Rooftop arrangements provided by Lacoste Garden Center. Salon services provided by Essentique Spa Salon.
A new hotel suite in Boston will have you saying good night. Childhood classic Moon Night Moon inspired this room at the Sheraton Boston Hotel. It features green walls, red carpet, a fireplace, and a dollhouse. Every child who stays at the room gets a stuffy and milk and cookies.
And a bowl full of mush?
Yes, the Good Night Moon Family Suite is available to book through February 2026. That's so neat.
That is nostalgic right there.
Yes, totally. So sweet. And finally, forget the parade. Santa is making a splash in an Ontario town. Santa and his friends traded in their sleighs for skis, gliding, jumping, and splashing into the chilly waters in Kearney, Ontario. It's part of the 9th annual Santa Claus Charity Ski Show, which raised more than $30,000 and thousands of pounds of food for the local food bank. Very cool.
Ooh, some tricks too. Yeah. I like it. Okay, now you're just showing off.
Santa and his elves is showing off. That does it for us. Have a good day. We'll see you tomorrow.